What is up, everybody? It's the Ninth Wonder. I'm joined by Comic Man Andy and Big Remo to start things off. It's Spec Club episode 3. I'm on the janky setup tonight, y'all, so bear with me. But I didn't want to let a week pass without doing the show. Especially only being on episode 3. I wanted to, at least get this thing started off, and as other people jump into the stream, the quality will kind of go up a little bit because we won't be so dependent on just me. But as y'all can see, we got a special guest in the house tonight. My guy, Comic Man Andy. Andy, how you doing tonight, brother?
Dude, just chilling. Like, seriously, taking a couple of weeks to just chill and relax. I'm glad you tossed me an invite. It's been a week and a half since I've been live online, and holy McClay's in the house too. It's been a hot minute since we hung out. Like, I think it was last week with Simpleman, but dude, just chilling in summertime, man.
Yeah, man. Remo, what you been up to, man?
Same, man. Just trying to get back in the swing of things, man. I don't know if I got my car, man. I finally got a car, so.
Oh, you did? What did you end up getting?
Just got a Honda, man. Went ahead and went with Old Faithful. Then got me a Honda, man. Got me getting froze up. Yeah, I haven't had a car for about 2 years, man. So it was about that time.
All right, I think we blacked out for a second. What did you end up getting, Remo?
A Honda, man. I went just bought a Honda. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Honestly, I was looking at some Hondas the other day, and I was like, these ain't too bad.
Too bad. You know what I'm saying? I got in there because I literally, over the wall from where I live is a Honda dealership. So I was like always passing it on the way home, and I was like, man, let me just go over there and see what they got.
Yeah. What year did you get?
2019. It was a lease return. So like they just got it. It only had like 20,000 miles on it. So I was like, man, let me go and get that. you can't get brand new cars that, you know what I'm saying, that don't have that many miles on it. So
yeah. I'm pretty close to paying off one of my cars, and then my wife want a new car. And I think after we do that, I'm gonna get like a project car, like an old school to drive around and listen to my old school tunes.
Like, let me get that so I can get what I really want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. But everybody, of course, y'all know this past week I've been off, been out on the cruise, had a good time doing that. Of course, me going to the cruise, I ended up missing Dallas Fan Expo, which I ended up missing a chance to hang out with some really awesome people. But, the cruise was so much fun, man. The cruise was so much fun. I was a little bit salty to start off because I was kind of conflicted about missing Fan Expo, and there was just some other stuff going on. But, man, it's hard to not have a good time when you can stay up and drink and gamble and watch live shows and eat food all day long, and you in the middle of the sea where it's peaceful. You don't got to worry about nothing too crazy happening. So, man, I had a pretty good time, but, got to refresh the battery. Now it's time to get back to work. And, it's time to get back to work.
Got to be able to detach and spend time with family. That's got to be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. But, the thing about it is even while I was on the cruise, I was still kind of out there, looking at different things in the comic book realm. I can't, just me being the way I am, I can't keep myself focused on one thing, for too long. I always got to kind of have my hands in a little bit of everything. So it's a lot of downtime on the cruise because Remo, you hit me up and was like, man, you better enjoy that all inclusive, which the drinks was not all inclusive. Me and my wife ran up a good bar tab, but it's a lot of downtime on the cruise, and that gave me a chance to look at the market, and man, it's some crazy stuff going on in the market.
Can you guys hear me okay? I apologize. My shit's all messed up.
No, we can hear you good. Yeah, you just keep popping in and out, McClay.
All right, I'm gonna. For some reason, I still can't hear you guys. I can only hear you on my phone. So I'm gonna go smoke real quick and then jump on regular.
Okay. All right, brother.
All right, I'll be back.
All right, thank you. There's a lot going on with the market right now, man. And I think people are panicking, but I would say people are panicking for no reason because I don't think it's the comic book market itself. I don't think like interest is going down or anything like that. It's just it's a lot of shit outside of comics that's expensive right now. Gas expensive, cost of living is expensive. You know, it's so much stuff that's expensive right now. That I think comics is really the last thing that we need to be worried about. Y'all, what's up? Welcome Red Hood to the show. Welcome my man Red Hood, Joe, to the show. Joe, what's up, baby? Glad you could show up tonight.
I came to support you, man. I mean, that's what I do.
Bro, that's why I love this community. I made a post a few weeks ago saying I don't know why this community rock with me so hard, but I definitely appreciate the love, man. I definitely appreciate the love from everybody.
Hey, I picked up a book, bro, and like I had to jump on it and tell you this book, bro. Let me tell you, dog. This is some heat. I don't know if you can handle it. All right,
man. Joe saying there's some heat.
Hey, dude, be some heat, you know me. I don't front, right? I bring it. Let me show you.
Come on,
motherfucking demolition.
What? Wow.
I fucking told you, dog.
Where did you find? You found it.
That's some Wesley Snipes goodness, dog. Newsstand fire, bro. Comic Man Andy style.
Hey,
bro, this is some fucking heat I saw. Oh my god, bro.
Somebody better hurry up and get a big old can of peanut butter because I'm nothing but jelly over here.
Dude, man. Look, check this out. Dude, it's fucking mint, dude. Look at that.
Man.
Look, the mint test, bro.
And nobody wanted to read it after the movie. I love the movie. But when you saw the movie, what's the point of reading the comic book?
Yeah.
So, you know, in books like this, where like the movie probably sucked or something like that, look and see who the artist was. Because it could be like some of their first original art, you know. So that's what I look at, you know. Like, it turned this bitch into a key.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at every little angle, bro. That's just my thing about it. You got to look at every little angle and try to get some more value out of these books. Mel, back to the market, guys, and where I think the market is at right now. You know, I was just looking, and when I started looking at the market, it's just my natural inclination to buy because you like, damn, this book is that cheap.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna spend a little bit of bread because I'm like, this stuff can't stay. It can't stay this cheap for this long. It can't.
But what it is, it's all the people.
Way.
It's the people that jumped in the last year and a half, 2 years, and they're panicking and they're selling the books they bought within the last year or 2 years. If they don't see the increase that they thought they were going to see in the short term, they're bailing before they're holding. So if you might have missed out that last, bump when everybody ran and got a certain book, a lot of the books that were hot in the last 2 years, man, are not hot right now.
Well, let's also not forget that a lot of people working with comic books, whether it be brick and mortar or just people in the hobby like us, there are bills to pay, right?
Yeah.
Some people are choosing to shed off an extra 5 or 10% of portions of their collections to keep those bills paid, i.e. CGC and CBCS. Those bills ain't going to get any cheaper. So I think there's some people that are being selectively smart about what they're doing with their collection. But then I agree with Remo down there saying that some people are trying to get back out of what they got into without being fully apprised. Maybe they're
not losing their ass. Like, I lost $100 or $200. So
like
they're losing 1,000. You know,
how many people graded Darth Vader 3 first appearance of Dr. Aphra over the last year and a half? A lot of people. Yeah. And how many people graded multiple copies and still have bills to pay off? That's a book that I'm seeing a little bit of a dip on. That's got some great buying opportunities lately. At least it seems like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you like this. I don't even want to hear that the economy's hurting the market, because if you saw all the people buying like those stupid variants and foils of like non-key books, and I ain't calling anybody out, but they're spending 200, 300, and I'm like, bro, I can, hey dude, somebody tackle these motherfuckers, bro. I can show you a book to buy if you want to spend $200. Like, bro, hey, tell me a foil from the 90s, from the 80s, that is worth any money, like significant.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fad. Like, I'm not telling people not to buy it. Buy what you like, but don't buy like 20 copies, you know?
Yeah. Don't buy all of them.
you know, and I ain't trying to hurt anybody's game, but like a year from now, when they realize that's not going to double in price, if you're paying 200, 300 for a foil right now,
but you got to hurt people.
Chances are it's not going to be 600.
But you got to
buy a Doc Afra for 500, right? Chances are it could be 1,000, right? It could double with announcement, news, casting. Like, that's got a better chance to double in price. Like,
I mean, I guess you got to waste some rarity into there a little bit. Like, where are those variants of Venom 1, like the gold one or the black one?
Oh yeah, okay. Now that's different. That's like
this is slightly different. You're getting into something a little bit more rare. Or
I just, I was like, I saw Comic Tom's Whatnot last night, and I was floored. He had like 500 and something people in there, and they spent a lot of money. And I was like, on books that like I'm used to buying like first appearances of characters and like key books. Like,
but here go the thing about it is, we, like guys like us, we at a different level, so we buy based on logic. We don't really buy based off emotion. The only thing we might be guilty of is buying off favorite. Look, I read this run and I just love this character, so I'm gonna overpay for this variant. Or I know me and Joe, people like me, Joe, Long, Short, Ultra, we gonna buy just because, look, man, we rock with this artist, or we just love this cover art. Like, gotta have it. Even if it's a book nobody else wants or really care about, we're gonna buy it. But the thing about Comic Tom is that he has a big following. So you're gonna have those people that just want to have an experience of buying something from Comic Tom 101, the same way people go to Disney World and pay $12 for a $1 churro. They want the experience. They're not really worried about commodity itself. They just look at the book as having some intrinsic value in the experience of getting on the live Whatnot sale, winning the auction, hearing Comic Tom, shout out their name. So that just comes with the territory, because if you look at it, you can get on Whatnot with some of the hottest books out there, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to have the same amount of people in your live sale that a Comic Tom will. But, it's guys out there who are not Comic Toms that don't have a big social media presence, but they've built up a big enough presence in, comic book reselling that do really well on Whatnot, and they won't have 400 or 500 people in their room. They have, 30, 40, 50 people and just crush it every time they come on. Or if you look at somebody like Kalen's collectibles, I mean, Kalen just get on there with the slabs, do his thing, and he's off, and he's off, And so the one thing about Whatnot is that you're going to see a lot of sales where people overpaid, but it's way more where people underpaid. Like, I look back at some of the books I sold for my first day on Whatnot to the time that I took like a 3-month break from Whatnot, and I was selling some heat on there. Like, if those people didn't make money off those books, good money, and I sell on quality too. I sell 9.6, 9.8 books because I really try not to buy anything below that. If those people did right by those books, they should have made money with me. Period. So it's a balancing act. It's a yin and a yang, and it's just about the buyer more so than anybody else. I will say this: a lot of those cats is getting on there just throwing money around. They got the money to do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dudes on there. They got more money than the Federal Reserve, and they can spend it how they want, and it's really not going to affect them. To me, to you, it's like, well, they spent 500 on that, but 500 to them might be like a cup of coffee to them. It's nothing.
Like Joe said, though, you do got to rein on some of their game because it chases new people to the community away because they get burned off the bat when they don't actually understand, and that's their fault. But sometimes, if the community is great as we say, we shouldn't allow that to happen.
You know what? Let me say this. I want to hear from Andy because Andy was the person that convinced me to go start selling on Whatnot. Because remember, everybody was hating on Whatnot at first. Everybody was hating. Andy was that dude that said, y'all motherfuckers tripping. Y'all need to get on this Whatnot stuff. I remember he was on What Drunken Chat one night. He was like, I sat right here in my office, man cave, whatever you want to call it, and made $4,000 in one night. I said, where's the link? I don't need to hear no more. I don't need to hear no more.
So
look,
if I can add a caveat to what Remo's at right there, kind of like a counterpoint a little bit. I agree that some stuff kind of goes for more than what we think it should, but I'd like to add that there are a lot of people out there that are picking up these books that are buying based on the convenience factor, and they're not as concerned about the market value. They're other Ninth Wonders, they're other big Remos, they're other comic manies and other comic man indies and other Joes that are paying what they want for what they want, regardless, because there's one piece of the pie that we don't talk enough about. And this is the convenience factor. How many collectors are homebound, or how many people have not been able to leave and not return back to society over the last 2 years, or whatnot,
or just don't want to.
That or Whatnot doesn't just provide them an option like eBay. They get entertained as well. Whether they're a fan of Comic Man Andy or Ninth Wonder or Comic Tom or anybody, there's the convenience side and that pie of entertainment, if you will, where they can have everything shipped. It's still affordable, even with some price hikes. And nothing's ever really truly perfect, but look at the response from eBay and other avenues just in the past 2 weeks.
I've done a lot of my shopping strictly on Whatnot for the last month and a half. I haven't had to go to an LCS just to pick up my books, but like to actually dig the books I want. I don't have to go to every shop and look for them. I buy them right on Whatnot. And like you said, the convenience factor, to me, an extra couple of bucks is worth it in gas. And all that. So
yeah, there's the gas saving, there's the convenience saving. There are people with compromised immune systems and people that are truly homebound that are now welcomed and being part of this community on a regular live basis because of that. But to add to what Ninth Wonder was talking about, yeah, as a seller on Whatnot, I have to be extremely smart and to be extremely savvy, and I'm looking to still provide those 20-30% off deals from eBay or other kind of market. Like, I'm trying to bring good deals, which means I need to be smarter as a collector on what I am letting go and when I'm letting it go. But most people don't really see behind the scenes except for you guys here are aware of it. When we're putting together a Whatnot show, there is boots hitting the pavement constantly on social media to the point where my friends get tired of seeing me spam and share stuff. And it's not that I'm trying to tell the same person 10 times. I'm trying to find the 10 people that want to come hang out and pick up dollar books or pick up some of the mid keys that I'm letting go of. Or when I'm doing a big Star Wars sale and I'm letting go of the extras. Yeah, I want to see Star Wars fans in there talking about what they like reading and what they're looking for and all that jazz. It's one auction for me is 2 weeks worth of prep. I don't know about you guys, and it's not just I can pull books out and I can go on Whatnot right now in 30 seconds. And it's super fast and super convenient. But what I want to do and where I have fun, it's 2 weeks prep time for a 3-hour show.
It's curated.
Yeah, for real. And, it's one of those things where I'm always kind of pushing my friends to get out there on Whatnot. I'm on Ultra ass all the time. Ultra, I know you got heat up in those boxes. get your butt on whatnot
Nothing to see.
and sell some books. But Ultra is like me in the sense where he kind of look at his books as his babies, and it's like I'm only letting this go if I absolutely have to, and you kind of want to get the most that you can get for your books. Now, me personally, I've let some of that go here recently and be like, you know what? A lot of these books I got for dirt cheap. As long as I can get, if I got 50% on market on every book that I got for dirt cheap, I would be farting through silk. Like I would be more than good. So it's just about how greedy do you want to be is the big question. And even when I look at prices, let's say we'll say if you say, oh, how much is a Ultimate Fallout 4? Like everybody here, a 9.8 Ultimate Fallout 4. Tell me how much that book is worth. How much do you think that book is selling for right now? Just give me a ballpark number.
$3,000 still.
Yeah, about 3.
Yeah,
the first print, just regular old first print, not getting into all other million print.
Right now, it's about $2,600 to $2,800.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, about 25, $3,000.
So it has come down a little bit from that $3,000, and then that tried to push. There's people who are trying to push the sales over 3, and then I see people getting a little sketchy at that price point. But man, that variant, that's something else.
Okay, so let's say you bought a raw for $500. You pay, let's say, $100 to get it graded. You were $600 into the book. If somebody offered you $2,000 for that book right now, say, hey man, $2,000 for this book. Would you really? You really wouldn't be losing nothing if you took that $2,000.
I would take that $2,000 in a heartbeat. And you know what? It's one of those things because I bought my Ultimate Fallout when it wasn't popular. Like everybody was like, "Oh, Miles," but he's the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man, and then Secret Wars happened, and then it's been like a train that you just see the steam building, and it keeps building and building and building, and all of a sudden that train's getting quicker and faster and more expensive to ride. So,
man, I forgot to give my brother Brian McClay a proper introduction. He hired in Jupiter right now, but Brian, welcome to the chat. Mel cracked me up anytime. Like, let's say the price of something is high. He was like, we went somewhere in Orlando. He was like, man, that's higher than Brian McClay.
Well, there's levels to this, okay? So there's McClay, and then there's Hunter Biden. So
yeah, that's a different level. That's no level I want to be on, dude.
It ain't even fun there.
That's where gas prices are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, man, I said this before. Like, if someone needs some money, and they sell their book for 30-40% off on eBay because they need some cash, we say, oh, the book is coming down. When you got about 2 or 3 people that need some fast cash, and they sell their Ultimate Fallout for $2,000, it was selling at 3, and then we go, oh, look, the market's coming down, it's $2,000, and we base that off of
that's why
we just got to
change. We got to change our rhetoric, right? And if you notice this, I kind of started doing this whenever I look at market report data on the channel. I'll say it's not coming down. Somebody got a fucking steal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody got a deal.
Y'all, we got a special guest, first appearance, my niece Riley, Rock Potter Butterfly, aka Big Mama. She wanted to come on and tell everybody what's up. Say hi, Riley. Wave, do something.
Actually get camera shot.
All right, go back to Auntie. So I can finish. Yeah, she got camera shot. Trust me, that girl not shy. That girl not shy at all.
I mean, I do think though that a lot of people got in recently and they're panicking. So this is the time you can kind of catch those extra deals because, like you said, people are dropping their books, but they're not all selling them. Everybody ain't selling those books. It's like Joe said, it's a couple people that, getting scared. They're like, oh, well, I just bought these comic books in the last year and a half. Screw that. Let me sell that because I need gas. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. Let me get a nice deal on an ASM 300. You know what I mean?
It's all that BlackRock money, man.
Exactly.
But see, and then something else I take into consideration is convenience. Like I did a deal with my dude Card Gems. Shout out Card Gems, another awesome whatnot seller.
RG was the man.
So I had the Miles Morales, the current run, Volume 4. I had almost every book. It was only a few books that I was missing from that, and I got tired of chasing them down. My goal with that was always to get that whole run and flip it for a 9.8 Ultimate Fallout 4. But I was like, man, I'm tired of chasing this. So I ended up doing the deal with Card Gems where we did like cash, and he traded me like a 9.2 Ultimate Fallout 4. And like I went into that knowing that I'm giving him the better end of the deal, but at the same time, I don't have to worry about no BS because this is my guy. I know, look, he's not going to be like, oh, I want to return this, or oh, I want to reverse this trade, even if something ain't 100% correct, with everything. It's kind of like, I know, look, we good either way it go. And so what we can do is I can say, look, give me this and that. And if you're going to grade everything, you press it, get it graded. If you do really good on the grades, give me something on the back end. Because I'm just, you doing this based off merit system, me telling you, hey, this is the condition the books are in. So if you send them off to get graded and you hitting, at a, 85, 90% clip to what I told you that the books, especially if you get all the big keys and they come back graded well, all right, throw me something on the back end, and we'll be good. And that's kind of how I like to do business because look, I could sit a book on eBay at top of the market price. It could sit there for the rest of the existence of world of mankind and not sell unless something just crazy just happens and the book just goes nuclear overnight. And my book was posted at a price that was so low that somebody just had to buy it. But for the most part, dude, I got slabs on eBay that I posted last year that haven't even got an offer, recently. So it's one of those things where I'm like, man, look, if I look at what I got into the book and what I can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I got, I had $2 into a book, and somebody, it was the Andrew Garfield book that's been selling a lot lately, the Amazing Spider-Man book, and I saw that it was one on eBay at 130 something. I told the guy, look, give me 150. This should pretty much be a lockdown 9.8. I was like, I don't care if the other auction finishes at $300. I got $2 into the book. I'm making $148 off of it, no fees, and I'm hooking somebody up that want to send a book off the CGC and get it signed. Like money, money means something, but at the end of the day, money don't mean everything. Sometimes just doing good business and doing it quickly and precisely is more important than anything else. Like now, sometimes if you got a one of a kind, a heat rock, something like that card Brian McClay had, no, I'm gonna want top dollar for that because you're not gonna see them pop up every day. But on some of these books, we gotta face it, bro. The book is not rare. If you can sell it and get good money back on it, make your move. Make your move. Let me introduce my brother Ant from Bird City Comics. Ant, I was eating dinner. I forgot to jump in that meeting, but we'll chop it up later and go over the details on that. And thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the show tonight. You've been listening to what we've been talking about. So yeah. I feel like we got a bunch of different perspectives in here. And how do you feel like the comic book economy, that's what I'm gonna call it, has been treating you as a retailer? Do you feel like you saw a dip in sales or a lack of interest in product or anything like that? How are you feeling about the market right now?
So I don't want to call it a dip in the market. I think people are still buying into the hobby. I think they're making smarter purchases because I have like regulars that buy everything that I do. Regulars that buy everything regularly. Bam. But they're being more strategic about what they're picking up now. It's not that they don't like all of them. They just got to get the ones they like the best. Because, and especially from what I do, I just feel like everybody wants to do it. So there's just so many options. Like if you look at the Stray Dogs or Twig, or what was another one that had 1 million exclusives to it, and you got all these choices. Like, what do you go with? You can't have them all. Ooh. Gas is $7 a gallon. You can't have all 80 covers. So you pick the ones you like. Which isn't bad because I think that people need to be smart about their buys anyway. I mean, completionists are always going to be out there.
Oh God, yeah. Tell me about it. I'm a completionist
right here.
Yeah. See, so it's a real thing, but they're having to be smart about what they want, get the ones they want specifically, and it's good for me because typically I hit pretty good on my concepts and artists. They're not all winners, but for the most part, I do all right. But yeah, I think people are getting smarter with their money because they have to manage it better.
Yep. I don't think there's no time to panic. I mean, like, bro, it's so much money out there in this comic book economy. It's no time to panic. Don't panic sell your stuff. Don't feel like you got to fire sale everything. Hold on to your books that you really love. If you down bad on hard times, I would say don't go and sell your collection. Look at other ways that you can make money because it's still a lot of money out here, man. Like a friend of mine that I went to school with, she went and drove Uber for a night because they were giving a $200 bonus in her city, and she did like 5 trips, got $200. She made 89 for the 5 trips and got the bonus $200. She said, "Hey, I'll probably never drive Uber again, but 289 versus sitting in the house eating ice cream, watching Netflix all night, that's an easy decision." You know what I'm saying? Like, is that one night really gonna kill you to drive Uber for one night? It's like it's so many different ways to make money out here, man. Like I saw an app the other day that will pay you $160 a game to go to local games in your area and just tell them, make sure the score was accurate, the venue was accurate, stuff like that. Like it's so many different ways to make money that I feel like selling your collection should be the last thing that you're thinking about doing to make money, because not only that, something I was thinking about the other day, let's say you got a book graded 2-3 years ago. Think about what you paid to get that book graded. Like, especially if you bought in like on a bottom line, $16-$18 grading. And now people, we say the average price to grade a book is about what, $35 minimum? Because most people going to fast track it anyways. Think about that value you losing when you sell that book for the current market prices right now. Well, you can always wait and say, you know what, this is a bona fide key. I can always wait, because it's not like the book is going to get that much cheaper, right? Like it's probably going to stay no less than where it's at right now. If anything, it's going to go back up. If the government get off their ass and decide, you know what, gas prices is jacked up, people still ain't fully back to work, we got a lot going on, let's drop one more stimulus. Let's drop one more stimulus on them. The market is gonna go crazy. Like
that's the thing, though. It's like, yeah, they're saying we're hitting a recession, but what's worse than everything completely shutting down for 2 years? You know what I mean? Like everybody didn't fire sell every last one of their comments during that time. They bought.
Well, everything was closed. Everything was closed, man.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Not for all of us.
Some of us did fire sale, not exactly fire sale.
Like I had a comic book store that was allowing me to shop online, and I can make appointments.
Man, you were killing them, Remo.
You seen it? So it depends. Like Lucas says, in all these situations, you got to be liquid. If you're not liquid, you don't need to be playing in the first place. So the people that are selling are the people who jumped in with that extra $300. They ain't got that extra $300 now. So now they try to get that extra $300 back. So they're selling everything they bought with that extra $300. So, you know what I mean? You got to let it run its course. You know what I'm saying? It weeds itself out. It fixes itself. You know what I mean? Like that's you. If you're ready to buy, you're going to buy right now. If you're not ready to buy, that's when you're going to, you're going to be more conservative. That's it. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
You know what, the bad thing about this hobby, and I'm learning this right now, is it's a wily temptress. She's a wily one, because like you see the box back me, I'm focusing my collection. It's not that I need to, but there's shit in there I collected that I could give two shits about now, and I should sell it because I don't care. It's not important to me. It's a part of that. I just wanted to have it at the time, and I'm going through this box. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I know somebody else will enjoy them, so I can sell them. The other thing is like what you're saying is that people dump cash on it because they want to do their first store exclusive. That's the dream. You want your name on the back of a book. It's the coolest feeling ever. I'm not going to lie, especially when it's a big 2 book. And then they get over their heads with it. But it's because it's their hobby, it's their passion. They're like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it. This is what I've always wanted. But they don't think about the business aspect of it, the money. Can you take the loss? Can you sit on the inventory and not tank your own product? There's a lot more that goes into it besides I just want to do a book. But again, the hobby's sexy. You know, all of us in it, we enjoy it and we see it. We're like, damn, I want to play. I want to be in. And there's a lot that can go wrong if you don't think it out.
Yeah, that's true, man. That is definitely true. But overall, I think people panic for no reason. Like, yeah, the gas is high. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the way I remember things is that gas is always more expensive during the summer because you have more people going on road trips, stuff like that. Usage is just up, so OPEC always bumps the price up. I'm sure, you know, stuff that we involved with in Russia, you know, that's not helping gas prices at all.
Here in California, they have a summer blend. So every like March or April, they switch the gas that we can use. So the summer blend kicks in.
So fake.
Dude, we can't even use the gas that we produce here in the Bay Area.
Moonshine for gas.
So all the gas we produce here in California gets sent to Nevada and Arizona.
Let me ask you one really quick question that it's a rhetorical question. I don't expect an answer, but have you ever heard of a summer blend jet fuel and a winter blend jet fuel? Not a thing. So
we understand it because we're the most, we're the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Environmentally safe state, to whereas it's just, we're like, whatever.
You mean you've got the California Air Research Board who dictates whatever
all of that stuff, man. We have a reason for everything on why we have to get charged more for it. You know what I mean? And nothing we can do anything about it. So now we're paying, close to $9, almost $8-9 a gallon. And then you got the governor coming and saying, oh, well, we're going to investigate the taxes and everything. We think they've been charging you. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that into a check. And every month we're going to give you the money we've been basically overcharging you for gas for the last 5 months. Bro, call it what you want. You know what I mean? Like
California, just a dirty state.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
But if you think about it,
state,
though,
man.
besides, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying it's not set up for that. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like they're gonna charge us more, and then the economy in California will give more in order to make up for the difference. So our jobs are going to start. Okay, well we're gonna pay you this amount more. We're gonna give you this stipend.
That doesn't fix anything when they give us more money. That's like minimum wage going up to $17 an hour. I'm like, that just means milk's going to cost $5 a gallon,
bro. So here in San Jose, the minimum wage is $15 an hour, right? It's minimum wage is $15 an hour. In-N-Out Burger and Chick-fil-A both pay $19.96 an hour. So okay, who's gonna charge you? You know what I mean? Like $15 an hour. Like, are you gonna? What kid? My niece is a lifeguard. She makes $15 an hour, and she's 15.
It's not bad.
You know what I'm saying? My brother's like, damn, she's gonna make like $1,000. He's all calculating. She doesn't spend. My brother's
he's trying to calculate the rent.
Yeah, he's like, man, I'm gonna make her do this, and I'm like, bro, let her just enjoy her money.
Yeah.
If she wants to go out and get her hair done and get her nails done, and
you know what though? Side note though, with the kids, that's hard because my kids work for me and they got money. And when I need them to do something, they're like, "I'm good." I'm like, "What do you mean you're good?" And they're like, "I got money." I'm like, "Okay, I meant for free, pro bono, to live in my house. You're gonna do this."
Yo, my daughter came to me. She's playing this game and she's like, "Dad, I want to get this knife on the game, and it costs $35." And I'm like, I'm paying $35 for a knife on a game. She comes over to me and busts out her wallet, and she's like, here's 38 or 36, and can you loan me $2? And I wanted to be like, no, I'm not gonna loan you.
Right? Dude,
but it's like, if you want to spend it, okay.
Yeah, my son and I play airsoft on the weekends, and normally I pay, right? So he had a basketball game on Saturday. And he's like, Dad, if I drop a 20 piece, you pay for me to get into the airsoft arena on Sunday. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. So of course the dude drops like 25, 30 points out of the 42. I'm like, shit. Right. And I'm like, you got money. Why'd you even make that bet? He's like, I like spending yours.
Exactly. But I was the same way. I was the same way. My dad would break me off, and then I would go and do all these other things for the money, and then he'd be like, well, why did you?
So the kids are the problem with the economy.
I wanted more. I wanted it all. I didn't want just the money I could get from you, and I could get it times 3 or 4. Like,
but that circles back around the comic books. Like when I'm selling books, everybody's always like, what part of the pie can you get? I already got my customers. I want the rest of the pie. And that's where it's getting really saturated because everybody's taking their sliver. And then they panic and we get panic dumps. And it's like, all right, I'm sitting here throwing my hands up going, well, shit, the rest of the pie is toast now.
Yeah. But that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the panic dumps. We're seeing those Ultimate Fallout 4s and ASM 300s that are going below the market rate because it's just somebody that's like, you know what? My taxes are due in a couple weeks. Let me get a head start on it.
Doesn't that mean we eat, though? Is that good?
It's not, but I'm saying those are the people that they come into the community and they're not truly for the community. They're hearing about something. They go out and buy it because they can. They had extra money during that time. And now they're like, oh, well, they forgot all about it. It's just sitting. Dude, I got like 3 RC cars I put together during the pandemic. Those things were like $500 a pop. I forgot I had them until the other day when I was cleaning up. 2 of them aren't even put together. And I'm just like, dude, I bought so much shit during that time. The Gundam things that were like, like 60, 80 bucks a piece. I got like
I just had like 10 lightsabers show up yesterday.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's stuff you forgot you pre-ordered. It's like you've already paid for it. Like, let me show up and you're like, oh man, I could sell this. I don't need that.
I didn't even want it. I got 4 of these if you guys want one.
Exactly.
Let me say this. Welcome my brother Yeezy Yee. To the venue. How you doing tonight? When we say, oh, this book took a dip, it's a $4 book. We're gonna say $35, $50 grading. A book was selling for $3K, $2K. Damn it, that ain't no dip. That's some damn good. Like a stockbroker would love to have a turn up on some stock like that, man. They would love that type of ROI. So, that's the thing that be tickling me about collectors. We say, oh yeah, that book took a dip, man. Hey, give me some of that dip, because damn it,
somebody got it for $1 at one time. Somebody bought that book for $1 and flipped it for $50.
Exactly.
And you bought it for $50 and flipped it for $200. Like, we're doing well. Like, you can't complain. Like, even if you're holding on to it, the last person sold that book you bought for $4. Somebody just sold it for $275, and you got 4 of them. You're gonna get at least 150 from one. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Like,
I don't know about y'all, but I've been trolling people on Whatnot that are selling shitty books, and hopefully they'll quit. But that's what fucks up the hobby, is that these jokers go on a show like that. People are thinking, oh, they don't know too much about comics, and a guy's holding up a shitty book in shitty condition and says it's a key, and the only thing a key about it is there's a key inside the book, like a picture of a key, but like that's what fucks up the hobby, is all these like shitty sellers and stuff, man. Get the fuck off of Whatnot, dude.
It's the community that does it, though. How many people? Okay.
No.
I don't want to say
hold
something.
on. I'm gonna say it's not the community, because I look at community as like people that's right here on this panel, right? Because to create content, you really have to love this hobby for the most part. There's some people out there that probably make content that don't give a damn. They just see it as an avenue of making money. But most people that create content, they really love this stuff, man. They really love this. But you got people on Whatnot. Like, I remember when I first got on Whatnot, it was an account called Going Twice. I think they originally did like sports cards, and then they started doing some collections for people. And they were on there just any old book you can think of, like a bunch of what if books. Oh, this is a key. This is a key. And sometimes, like, okay, this technically may be a key, but we all know this is a $1 to $3 book, and you sitting here saying, "Oh, it's a $15 book." Bro, that's not a $15 book. You know what I'm saying? And then when you add in the wheel games and stuff like that, that's really, if it's new buyers on there and they don't know no better, that can really mess their head up and have them spending hella unnecessary money. But I feel like people like that, they aren't in the community. They're just out there to make $1. And that's the, and in my opinion, it's not like Whatnot job. But now we're about to see more different apps than Whatnot just going to do live selling, right? Because Whatnot gets a lot of the negative publicity because they're the main live selling app now. And a lot of that you see, because you can post a bunch of crap books on eBay and say it's a key. Nobody will ever buy them because the more savvy buyers are on eBay and they kind of know like, oh, this is not a key. I don't need to buy this book, et cetera, et cetera. So I just feel with Whatnot, you get more.
Not a key.
We said what? Yeah, but I had a dude tell me, oh man, I didn't see this book on Key Collector. Are you sure it's a key, bro? If you basing whether something's on the key or not, because you got to go to Key Collector, then you got no business telling me what is a key or what isn't a key. But
you know what I miss? I miss the days of digging before that app.
Oh, shit, right?
And now whenever I go to a store and I see somebody using that app to dig, and I kind of just do that laugh from the losers, that road kid.
I do as well. Like every time I go to a 50% off sale at a certain store, like, I always try to clean house just like from memory. And then like when I see people like sitting there like studying the app, like looking up every single title on it, I'm just like kind of like, seriously, like, why? Like
they want a quick buck.
Yeah. And then do you like, I mean, I hate how they put the price on there too as a price guide.
Anybody who uses their price guide is just asking for a world of hurt.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a guy at a
price your books for sale on those prices. Go ahead.
he had right. I'll buy them off you as soon as you buy them at that price. He had his phone out and he was just annoying me. So I grabbed his box and he's like, "What's up?" And I'm all, I go, "Those are the keys in that box." And I get the fuck out of the way because I need what's in back of them. And he looked at me and I'm like, "You're here flipping?" I go, "They're going to get you at the register anyway. So they'll check it on eBay because that's like the thing now."
Yeah.
Let's not forget, speaking of market wise right now, this is typically the slower point of the market during the year. This start getting in the dog days of summer.
Summer break, man.
Yeah. Like
that.
Things are kind of quiet on YouTube. Like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of the hobbyists out here, a lot of us in the community that have been really busy, and we're all kind of taking that crew like Ninth Wonder. And I mean, I look towards Marvel and DC. Are they doing any big releases right now? And they're all kind of gearing up for that early fall, end of summer kind of release, right?
Is there hasn't been a big event? Oh crap, Hellfire.
Dark Crisis on DC, which is done.
I'm trying to think. Like, is there a big event crossover going on? Yeah, Dark Crisis going on over at DC. That's their big thing right now. Killing the Justice League, and they're doing it with style. And then it is the summertime, so I know. Like, me personally, I took a break from my show because my son's home, and honestly, with him being home, I can't ignore him for an entire Wednesday. So it's like impossible.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Starts kindergarten in the fall, but he's a very energetic kid, and I cannot just be around all day long and be like, no, I'm working on the show. So I made the choice to kind of take a pause from that right now, and then also retool the show for some awesomeness, and then get to come hang out here where Ninth doesn't make me do any slides, so it's great. No prep, just show up. Put your butt.
See, that's why I did. I say, fuck it, we ain't doing no prep, all that. We just gonna get on here and talk. Joshua, to answer your question, there's nothing wrong with using Key Collector. Nothing wrong at all. I still use Key Collector for certain things because I can't remember every little single key out there, so it is a good point of reference. But I do feel like the best way to dig is by going through your comic shop. Just go through and dig and pull out the stuff that's interesting to you, the cover art that you like, and then go back through Key Collector and try to find some keys if you have some time. That's the way I did, because I don't know every single key that's out there, or I might think something is key and I need that little bit of confirmation that, okay, yeah, this is the right book. So don't be ashamed about using Key Collector, but don't be that guy that's sitting there. All right, you move to the Miss Marvel section, you look up all the keys, you thumb through. If you don't see the keys, you moving on strictly for the purpose of trying to find a book to flip, because you never gonna get ahead like that, and you wasted more time than money than anything else. The amount of time that you're gonna put into that, you never gonna get your money's worth back out of it.
His next comment is on point though, where he says it helps me as a seller and a collector. Key Collector is used by sellers to pull books from their back issue bins. Whenever they see a Key Collector alert, they're going and pulling those books and getting them listed, because they know that there's people like other people who are using that app that are chasing the books they're getting alerted on. But
they don't list every key though. There's a lot of keys in there that I've looked up and I'm like, oh, they don't even have it in there.
Well, they're just saying don't use it as the end all be all.
Yeah,
it's a resource, but have a couple.
There's a lot of Star Wars stuff missing from there.
It's definitely something that I know that my friends who are sellers and resellers use as a resource, and it helps them move books. So,
hey,
exactly.
Latasha Bundy, a legend. I don't know if she got a YouTube or if she get on video. If you do, I would love to have you on. If y'all ever see her comments on Drunken Chat and some other shows that she watch, like she is sharp for. Yeah, she is sharp for real. Like, there's some slick dudes on this panel, but Latasha Bundy is a shark for real. I think she said she pulled out like 1 in 25 Moon Girls when nobody else was on it.
Yeah,
and you
like,
can tell she not bullshitting. She
wife
definitely knows this stuff.
And I'm just like, when it comes to the house, I'm like, how the fuck did you find that for $2.75?
Right?
How? On eBay? Like, how did you find that?
Hey, who feels like the ratio game is coming up right now, though?
Like, in a good way or a bad way?
Well,
in a good way.
Depends on the book. And I know there's been a couple of good ones for DC as far as ratio-wise lately. That
I've been selling a shit ton of ratios, and even if they're not good, it's been weird to me. Like, I'm like, why are you spending your... I mean, I'll take it.
But let's just be honest.
Like,
the Micah variants over at DC have been a cash cow for retailers and a glory for a lot of people who flip books on Wednesday Warrior, and for people who collect those on Micah variants, it's good stuff.
So you're running into that perfect storm kind of situation where you have several different groups that are collecting it for different reasons, or all chasing after the same book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not shameless plug. I got a Catwoman 45 coming out, and the Sozo Micah variant for that is very nice.
Mama.
So
you got art on that?
You
got art on that Catwoman book?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on.
I guess it depends entirely on the ratio and stuff, because I'm feeling like some independent ratio stuff is actually slowing down.
But dude, 1 in 250 for a something is killing the kids, just FOC'd.
All right, so check it out. I'm gonna show this because I'm not technically allowed to show this image until tomorrow at 12 p.m. So this is literally going to be up for 15 seconds, but it's got the 1 in 25 on it. So this is my loophole.
It's just us. So
it's just us. Ready? Yeah. And I'm going to pull it down. So focus. Wait. Shit.
I'm ready.
Wait, where's my phone?
All right. I'm going to add the stream. Ready? 3,
you
2,
need to stop
1.
it.
Oh my God. Mama.
We've already seen the 1 in 25.
All right. It's gone. That was it. Shit.
Dude, I'll take all 3 of them.
I know, right?
So you know what I love too? So all these books, like if you follow Sozo on IG, she's given you like little snippets and corners of some of these images. You've known some of this fire's been coming through the pipeline for a little while. The one that you just showed there, and it's already been shown on Lunar Distribution, so you're good. You're not going to get in any trouble.
Well, it had my exclusives in it. But put back up that 9th. Hit the share screen. This is the 1 in 25. So this image is out there.
Yeah.
So
that she was working on that on her IG. I love the way she does that. And y'all think as hot as Sozo Micah is right now, she's only gonna get hotter because she hasn't been doing this a long time, and she's learning how to play the game. And Drew, if you're listening, shout out Drew. Drew is leading her the right way. Drew is leading her the right way, I think. And yeah, man, she's gonna be a monster. And correct me if I'm wrong. She don't got no Marvel books out there.
Nope.
Wait until them Souls of Michael Marvels come.
Especially if they do a high ratio incentive. Like look at what we're getting over at Marvel now. Everything is an art germ open order and an art germ 1 in 100 virgin.
If it's not that, it's a Momoko, right?
Well, true that, and those are the two big ones that have been killing it lately. So there's a couple other artists that are over in like the Dynamite and other independent realm that are absolutely just destroying their competition when it comes to artwork. Like it's when you go through the 26 different variant covers of a Dynamite book and you see like 3 of them that are just like, whoa. And it's kind of like, you know, that's kind of how they've been working themselves out to be because they put out so much.
Yeah.
But like the Coens, the Chromes, man, there's just so many of them that I'd want to name drop right now, but I'd probably just trip over myself. But there's a lot of them that are making the jump from like that Dynamite and other indies that are starting to pop up in DC and then starting to pop up eventually over in the Marvel books, which is good. But we had a private conversation about the realism versus the more cartoonish comic book style. Right. And there's a lot of people who are very firmly drawn on the line saying that, you know what, I don't like that realism. I don't like the Ben Oliver. I don't like the Jeff DeCall. I'm like, what? You know, like it's their own. They can like what they want to like, but I've come to find that it's more of a minority of people who like that realism, hardcore art detail style versus people who like the more campy kind of
traditional comic book art style. Yeah, I like both. I like both.
Well, can I ask a question then? So who here has been to a con recently in the last few months? Is it just me or is anime like the thing?
Yeah, no, it's I'm glad you actually brought that up, but I'm wondering if we're going to see more of a turn on cover art over time because not just anime but manga. Manga is making a really big not resurgence, but it's getting a lot bigger with kids in high school and college age.
No, and so this is the fun about being what I do for a living is that you get your Sozomicas. I think like Peach Momoko. Remember when she hit, everybody was like, OMG, this is the stuff. And then she signs on to Marvel. Well, think back to Franklin and Ghost when she was doing stuff for Source Point before anybody even knew who she was.
So there's a lot of people who are really into her. I just never been an artist hit for me.
Let's just talk like the masses. Though. Everybody was like, oh my gosh. And now she's a regular, and then she does regular images. There you go. Big Remo with all his manga.
My daughter, 9, she reads all this stuff, man.
I love it.
And she just blows through them. So it's like, it's a thing. And
that's the fun part about what we do, though, is that you get like mangas coming around. So that art style's coming around right now. So for a retailer like myself, when I put out exclusive art, I'm looking for artists that nobody knows who they are. And then they hit, everybody uses them. They become mainstream. And then you kind of got to reset and go back into it. And that's the fun part. So I got this artist I'm going to share. Laura's going to get pissed. Where's she at? She's never done a comic book cover and she's doing one for us. Tell me what you guys think once I find it, but somebody else can jump in. She's giving me a dirty look. Whatever.
Well, I feel like there's already starting to do that blend, right? Between crossing over.
I was waiting for somebody to bring that up because an artist that I've been keeping tabs on for months. It's recently made a couple of DC covers and actually has one that just it's going to be FOCing this coming Sunday.
I mean,
and that is Leslie Lee on that Harley Quinn 25 copy incentive for Harley Quinn 17.
Yeah, and then on the Marvel side, they've been featuring a different like Japanese artists for their like anime style cover, like as their
which is awesome.
Cover. Which is awesome, yeah.
Ninth, hit me with the screen share when you get a chance.
Oh, I got you.
And of all the manga covers that I talked about, the only one that I still want that I have not gotten is that stupid X-Men 92 with Gambit, Papa, and Jubilee's bubblegum.
Yep.
You still
What do you
haven't
guys
found
think?
that?
Haven't found one. I talked about it and I pushed it out of my reach. That's what happens.
See, I scooped one cheap on Whatnot at some point in time. I think I got it from Big Lake, but this was like months after after it
But
boosted.
you found the Throg and the Thors and you sent that one to Mel. That was amazing.
Oh, when I handed it to him in person.
Oh yeah, you gave it to him in person. You did give it to him.
Yeah. Like
so,
I wanted that one to be a
one.
surprise. Yeah. So I don't
It's
even
just
know how I ended up with that.
Another set of those qualifiers from my day,
Yeah.
What do you think about her?
I want some Fruit Loops now.
So this is a new artist Laura found and got in touch
amazing.
with. And she's never done a comic book cover, and she's doing one for us. But I thought she had that nice like cross between that manga like anime style art. It's almost like right.
This shit looks expensive, bro. If she's going to be doing books,
Tell me about it.
There is so much competition now. Look at that cover. That looks like $100 book. You just slap like Miss Marvel on it or something like that, right? I mean, like
this is that mega style.
Catwoman, you could just see. Oh man, come on, what are these ladies doing to us, man?
So be looking out. This is a new artist. She's never done a comic book cover before. She was really into it. She's like, I want to do one. I don't know what I'm doing. And we had to send her I literally had to send her the layout, the Photoshop sizes, just so she knew how to do the layout before she did. She's never done one before. So this is a brand new artist. But this is the fun stuff. But you see, she's got that anime, manga, the cat eye style that she does. Because I think this is the thing right now.
Bro, if she's gonna start doing books, she's gonna be a superstar, man.
Well, she's gonna start doing books for me, and then everybody will steal her. But I get the first couple.
Why?
Oh, right here. This is the one. I want to do a vamp of this.
What is that one on the right underneath that? It's just her drawing. Yeah. Click that.
Yeah, just pencils.
That's fucking sick,
right?
Yeah.
Mama.
This is the fun part, though. Finding these people. All right, Laura's giving me dirty looks. Sorry, turn it off.
No more sharing.
No more.
No, but that's good. We were talking about how these new artists coming into this realm are making other artists have to raise their game, from J. Scott Campbell and Adam Hughes, and where they got lazy, and Mike Mayhew's, and and thought that they had this space covered, man. This competition is coming, and it's coming at a fast and furious rate. And these ladies ain't playing around, dude. They know what sells, and they know how to draw the girls. I mean, it's not even funny. Yeah. I mean, Carla Cohen, phenomenal. Sozamika, phenomenal.
Carla's my homie too. She's dirty. She says,
dude, that artist you just showed right there, that ought to tell other artists, hey, you better step your game up, man, because they're going to take all the money.
Yeah,
serious, man.
Yeah, you know where you find some of these people too? Artist Alley at your major convention. There are so many fantastic artists that are overlooked because
that's my next one.
Yep.
Can you believe Sozamika didn't even have a line? I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
she didn't have.
Yeah.
She didn't have a line at Detroit Motor City Comic Con. Nobody there. And Double O and I were kicking ourselves for not bringing books over there and bringing them to Detroit to have work done by her, because they're just awesome. I mean, it was awesome. You could walk right up to her and have a 20-minute conversation with her.
Well, and then at some point in time, though, I know she wasn't feeling well at MegaCon, and no one could find her. It's she would show up late or something like that. There was stuff like that happening.
Be talking bad about Sozamika.
I'm not.
You watch your mouth.
I've
I'm just playing.
No, I think she had did a con right before MegaCon, and bro, MegaCon, that was a tough man. That con was it was so many people there, bro, and man, it was a fun con, but it was a tough con. Especially if you was like there working, I'm sure that was tough on a lot of people, man. So I could definitely understand her getting zonked out and like, bro, I just need to go back home.
Especially if you've been on the road for a couple weeks and you ain't been in your own bed and shit.
Yeah.
You ain't ate a good home cooked meal, like all of that matters.
Wears
All of that
on.
matters a lot, bro.
You might be used to chilling with one of your friends once a week or something.
Yep.
Support and you ain't getting
certain,
it. Like,
a certain type of strain of medical that you're not getting.
Can't get while you're on
the road. All of that plays a part.
Yeah.
Yes, it just depends on what your day-to-day routine is like. Some people, going on vacation or getting away from home is a stress relief to them because they, their house is not a home. But so being out on the road is better. But some people, when they crib. Yeah, when their life is set up right, like I got a homeboy, his life is set up right. He making good money. He don't got kids. He don't got a spouse. He don't really want to leave the house. He like, bro, I got everything I need right here. Why I'ma leave the house? Man, we paid a good amount of money to get like VIP access to a Lupe Fiasco concert. We got there and he didn't like the venue and he was like, we bouncing, bro. I'm like, bro, these tickets not cheap. He like, fuck that. My inconvenience is worth my time and convenience is worth more than what these tickets cost. And that's how Boston moves. Like, all right, I don't like it. I'm gonna leave.
Hey,
I ain't gonna sit
here. Paid for the ticket, then hey, it's all good.
Yeah, like I was like, you know what, man, that's real. That's real. But that's how I like to say.
Some of us have smaller social batteries too. Like I really enjoy hanging out with everybody 5 nights a week on YouTube. Get me to a convention though, and I've got kind of like a limit where I can only take in so much information and digging through books and spending time with people. And anybody out there running a booth at a con knows that all too well as well.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way because when we were in Orlando, it was me, Mel, Dennis, and some other people that I really don't know. And with Mel and Dennis, like I'm fine with you, being close and in my space because I know I'm good. I know you're not gonna do anything to me. But this one dude kept standing like above me while I was sitting down. And like where I'm from, like you can't do that, dude. Don't get that close to me because look, my first natural instinct is gonna be to defend myself. But I understood he really wasn't trying to do that. But it's like, no, Playboy, you gotta give me some space, man. Cause I got a trigger, and it like I snap like that. So it's just kind of like my social battery started wearing real thin that night. But right as I was about to get to the breaking point, a lot of those people left, and it was just me, Mel, and Dennis, and we was able to talk and bullshit around like we wanted to. But most of the time after being at a con for a full day, I honestly just want to go back to my hotel room, eat some food and watch TV and prepare to do things again the next day. Even though I love meeting people in person, especially people that I talk to on the internet all day. It's just weird to me to talk to people on the internet every day, all day, and I never meet you in person. It's just so awkward to me that once I actually meet people, then I'm like, all right, I feel my zen is at 100% at peace. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, Andy, and that's why I say if I was Souza Mike, especially if I was like a creator. Like y'all couldn't get me to stay at that con for 8 hours, man. Different people just walking up to you nonstop. Everybody got expectations. Nah, not for me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this real quick. I think the only person I haven't met on this panel is Big Remo in person.
Coming soon, man. Coming soon.
Yeah. And then I met Ninth first in person at Dallas last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a point. Be either between the end of this year and next year, I'm gonna get up with a lot of you, man. Sweet. I might be coming to Arizona soon, but
I got you.
I have to look McClay up for sure.
Yep.
Hell yeah, bro.
I got a bunch of family out there I haven't visited in a while, so I gotta go visit soon.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, don't leave me out this time. McClay, if he hits you up, let's go take him.
Oh no, definitely, yeah. You guys, Ant, it would definitely hit you up for sure.
We were in Baltimore. I was gonna say is that it was funny. This guy came up and he's like, "We love you, Bird City Comics." Oh my god, blah blah blah. Laura came up for one day, okay, and she gets there. My buddy went and picked her up from the airport. And she gets there and she comes rolling in the con while he's telling us how much he loves us, and then he just stops. He's like, will you give me your autograph? He asked Laura for an autograph in front of us. Yeezy, were you there for that?
No, I wasn't there for that because I heard he was looking for my autograph as well too.
Yeah. So
yeah.
he asked my buddy Tim and Laura for their autographs, and I'm like, I own it. Like,
it's my shop.
Yeezy's floating around somewhere at this con.
I'm like, Yeezy's somewhere. Here's Tim. Laura just showed up. I'm like, just standing out to the side. He wanted their autographs, like legit on a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, if you guys want to meet Bird City at a con, you better be there right away too. Because I was floating around Baltimore saying hi to everybody. I was like, I'm gonna stop by Bird City. They sold out of books and left. Like, you guys sold out, done, gone.
That's it.
That's right. That's how I do it.
That's it. Sell out. I mean, show up and sell out.
I came to sell books. I'm all out of books.
Dude, I packed up early Sunday. I felt bad, so I went like Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, I'm like, fuck this, I'm out. Packed up my shit. Got my table shirt. I was out of there.
Well, you could have gone and chewed some bubble gum and gone bin diving, but
Sure. Oh yeah, I thought about that too. But the problem again was I had Laura with me, so it was like I felt like I was her security. Like I had to walk her around so she could do her photo ops and get her pictures taken. I was escorting her around the con. I'm like,
so it was a normal day.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much for me. McClay knows. He knows she's a superstar when she shows up places. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, everybody was
Ultra.
asking for her.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this one? Do you remember this?
I kind of do.
So it's a Tim Sale cover, and it's reprints all the firsts of Wolverine, Sinister, Gambit, and Rogue.
Dude, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, dude. And I'm curious, like, could this be one of Tim Sale's first covers? Like, what was some of the first shit that he did?
Man, look, I started on that Tim Sale rabbit hole, but I didn't want to do a Spec Matrix on the weekend of him passing like that.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd give it some time. But if I do recall correctly, that is pretty early in on the work. But isn't that cover reused art, though? Or is that all new art? That's the question. I think that was
this one.
I think that was the question I had when I looked at that, whether or not it was reused art from someplace else. And that's what I was working on as far as when I was in the Tim Sale rabbit hole. But I've now got like 15 other plates spinning with my ADD-ness. So it's awesome. But that is a pretty cool book you have there, man.
Yeah, the whole Wolverine first appearance, Rogue.
So yeah, it's got a Hulk one. You said it's Wolverine, Gambit, and Rogue, right?
And Sinister.
And Sinister.
Yeah.
So it's got 181, 221, 266, and Avengers Annual 10. All in that big book. You know what I love? Those big books are kind of sleepers. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They're
hard to find, dude.
right there that has those reprints of those first appearances. And then there's also a really, really big book that's close to my heart called X-Force Magazine #1. Reprints New Mutants 98, 99, and 100. Yeah, and has basically the New Mutants 100 cover on the cover of it, but it says X-Force Magazine instead. But that is, I believe, one of the earlier reprints of Deadpool's first appearance. And then there was another X-Force reprint that was done that was 99, 100, and X-Force #1, also in that thick square bound edition. So that's a whole other rabbit hole, man. Yeah. Those square bounds that have reprints that probably weren't done for probably 20 years before they hit, and they probably haven't been done in 20 years since then.
Hey, share the screen real quick. This is Tim Sale's first shit. So his first work was Myth Adventures #1 from Warp Comics. And then his first cover is Thieves World #1 from Starblaze.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Didn't
That's
Tim
an awesome
Sale
list. Yeah, man.
Didn't Tim Sale do artwork on the NBC TV show Heroes?
That's a great question.
I think he did. Let me double check.
You might be able to check on the actual IMDb for that show and check to see if there's any credits that show Tim Sale's name in it. Probably be under production art.
Yes, he did. And he had some sick ass shit on that fucking TV show. Hold on, damn, I don't know if I can share my screen.
Save the cheerleader. Save the world.
Man, Ninth Wonder went dark.
Dude, that shit was tight. I remember that.
All right. So here's a question.
Then
for
it got
you.
weird, but it was good to start.
Is
Yeah.
anyone going to Terrificon?
See.
All right, my bad, y'all. Here, let me
What's the next con everybody's going to?
What's the next big con? Is it Terrificon the next one, or
Next one I'm going to is Baltimore. I think that I'm just gonna wait till for Baltimore. I got too much shit going on to go to all these damn cons,
Denver?
even though I want to go.
Would San Diego be the next big con?
Yeah.
And then after that, I would assume C2E2 is the next.
Maybe Emerald City. Emerald City.
More Emerald City.
Yeah.
When is that? I don't even remember.
No,
Is
that would be
August
like-
also?
August, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because I know it in years
Let me look.
past it used to be in
Yeah,
March.
but
Because of last year they moved it to a different time.
isn't it San Diego Comic Con like on Thanksgiving or something like that?
That was last year.
No, Comic Con is
August
next month?
18th to the 21st is Emerald
Okay.
City.
So according to what Ninth just put in the private chat, weren't those like the refresher scenes at the beginning of the show that they would show like this
so
and kind of like slow motion it a little bit to like get you caught up on the story?
So they had made like actual comic books, and for some of those comic books, I know Tim Sale did the art, or they just made like paintings. Yeah, there was like professors. They use that art in like webisodes. Like they use a lot of Tim Sale art. I want to say like they had an artist. They had one of the characters on the show was an artist. To activate his power, he would use heroin, and he would get high, and then he would paint the future. And I want to say that was Tim Sale art. I'm gonna have to go back and do the research. I'm in a Reddit group, in a subreddit with a bunch of Heroes fans, and I'm gonna ask them what exactly Tim Sale stuff was used for, and which comic books was actually printed from his artwork from that run. I guarantee you a lot of that stuff was low printed, and I know they had like some SDCC exclusives and just some Heroes comic books that was like really hard to find. And that show like is underrated to me because it was out before the MCU came back around, and that first season was perfect. Second season got delayed due to writer's strike, and it kind of turned some people sour on it. Plus, the MCU stuff started to kind of come around. Plus, that's when DC had just kind of first started the DCEU with, Man of Steel and all of that. So people was kind of, jaded by that. But that show was really good. And that first season, like, the art direction was amazing because they had Tim Sale, and the story was amazing because they had Jeff Loeb writing. So I've always been a big fan of that show just because I'm a comic book reader at heart. But I know Tim Sale did a lot of artwork for that show, man. He put in a lot of work, especially on that first season. So that's going to be like a little project of mine, just going back and see all exactly what he did for that show because, man, he put his foot in his damn in his damn work on that one. And
it was like whenever he drew, it came to life, right? Or like that dude, he would draw it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Aaron, can you share a screen on that link I put in there?
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking when you were saying Heroes? I kept thinking No Ordinary Family. Remember that one? Fantastic Four, the guy that played the Thing. He has a superhero family that all get hit by some.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was running through my head. That
It was like
It wasn't a hero. Was
that's the actual scene from the.
Yeah. It was like a different
that's the
story.
actual scene from the show, but but see, it wasn't. It was supposed that's how the show was originally supposed to be.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be an anthology, a different story every week, but they chose not to go. They chose not to go with that and to do a connected universe like the MCU is. So this was supposed to be like the MCU before the MCU, but so like this is the Tim Sale art, right? But in the actual TV show, it had Hero holding up that blade to a skeleton of a dinosaur, not an actual dinosaur. But I think it was like a part where he goes into the past, where Hero time travels into the past, and he actually is face to face with a freaking dinosaur. So yeah, that's gonna be my one. Before I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna start deep diving on all the art Tim Sale did for this show. So
That's
RIP,
cool, man.
Tim Sale, man.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah, it
Their
sucks.
creators dropped
I was a big
fast.
fan. No, I was going to say I was a big fan of Spider-Man Blue. I thought those were some great covers. Yeah, underrated, So
I got people like call me and they go, "Do you have a Spider-Man Blue?" And I'm like, "I do exclusives." And I've had, I want to say, 2 calls today alone asking for those trade paperbacks or comics from the run.
yeah, I've got the trade and I've got the run, and it's they're pretty hard to find. I mean, I haven't looked at eBay or anything like that to see, but the Gwen Stacy cover is probably the best cover with Peter and Gwen. I don't know if anybody could pull that up.
I see about 202 credits in his work history from my searches. A lot of them, he did a lot of variant covers for Batman Rebirth.
Mm-hmm. He did the Long Halloween, or did a cover for it?
He did it. That's Long Halloween, Dark Victory,
A
Spider-Man
special.
Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Gray.
Damn.
All new Hawkeye.
Him and Jeff Loeb did all those.
So I'm glad someone brought up trade paperbacks, and just to like rewind a little bit back with the, I guess, appealing to like manga readers and anime readers. Do you think they'll actually start collecting like floppy comics, or do you think they'll like gravitate a little bit more towards like trade paperbacks and omnibuses and stuff like that? Because like when you buy a manga, it's not just like one issue; it's like a story.
So you have to understand something. So I've worked in a comic book shop that has an extensive manga collection. The kids will buy it, bring it back, and want to exchange it for store credit, and they do it pretty quickly.
Oh, because they read so fast.
They take good care of them, but they read them so fast, and it's not a collectible in many sense as much as it is kind of like a library, and it's just out on loan. You charge an excessive amount for the loan, and just let them know. And this is what you do as a good store. You say, hey, look, these mangas are in high demand. When you get done with it, bring it back, and I'll give you store credit for it. And just make sure you keep it in new sellable condition. And when we tell the customers that, and they were like, "What? You'll give me credit for it?" We're like, "Yeah." Like trade paperbacks would come back in new sellable condition, and that's exactly what a local comic shop wants. So it's the beat up copies that they don't want to buy back that end up being the ones that they lose in their inventory. But if you get 3 of them, and it really all depends. Like you have to have somebody who knows the mangas, because man, you guys want to talk about a volatile market? That is insanity. I can't even keep up with the stuff they put on Netflix at the moment.
And their each issue is literally a frame by frame of the cartoon, of the anime itself. So if you binge watch the episode and then go read the manga, it's exactly the same scenes for straight through like you're watching the cartoon. So
yeah, I mean, I know like in Akira they add more in the manga compared to
probably in the dialogue. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's extra scenes and all that.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
but then they have director's cut of Akira, so I mean, there's a lot of that stuff is in there. So
Red Hood, was this the trade you were talking about?
Oh yeah, that's an awesome trade. But the single issue with the yellow background with the Gwen Stacy's pretty awesome too. It kind of looks like it. It's the same one.
And I'm wondering about the whole manga and that being kind of getting to be an in thing. Mangas are black and white. How many of those readers are going to transition into wanting to collect covers for art? Well, if they're reading, I mean, it doesn't seem like a natural jump if you're trying to draw manga readers into collecting covers. I don't know.
It's a total different thing, because in the manga it's a lot of fantasy, a lot of the characters are like they're a bit larger than life. Like Batman and Superman and that are larger than life, but these characters are like I mean, it's a parallel to comics, but like, man, that whole cosplay thing takes it to a whole other other level. Like, you know what I mean? Like that it's huge. It's like people like loving like Michael Jackson, you know what I mean, and then dressing like him. It's the same thing. It's like, yeah, you have people cosplay Marvel characters, but not to the extent of these Marvel characters.
People are flat out creating small home businesses and even larger businesses now where they sell their patterns and instructions on how to where to go, where to buy.
I did it yesterday.
Yep.
My daughter's already trying to get me like, hey, I want to be this person for Halloween. If you go to Etsy, there's this person shows you how to make the staff. This person shows you the pattern for the outfit. And I was like, oh, so this is where we would go buy a Nerf gun and make it look like that. And she's like, oh yeah, she don't use a gun, so I don't need that. So, and I'm like, good. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was crazy, man. So that's exactly what I mean. It's totally different. Whereas like kids it makes them, I don't know, man. I just know that every time I go to the comic book store, and the last 2 times my daughter kind of got into she's into Silk and Shang-Chi now. So she, when she sees those, she starts looking for them. She went through a 50-cent bin the other day and grabbed a stack of books. So, I mean, it's like, for her, it's, it's different. Comic is different than her walking into the comic book store and walking to the manga and saying, okay, I need number 9, 10, and 11, or let me get number 13 because I've already read the other 12, and this is the new one that just dropped, or this is the new one that came in. Like, they're pretty specific in what they want. Like, they don't even jump around to all manga titles. It's the ones they like, and they kind of follow that. And she was telling me about like the fandom and stuff like that, how they have like fan bases behind each title, and it's a whole lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Do you think that has something to do with this whole like movement of being woke? I mean, hold on, but let me say this. I was just at Phoenix Fan Fusion, and I saw more guys dressed as Misty from Pokemon.
Oh, no, yeah. No,
but that's what I'm saying, with manga and that Asian influence that a lot of times said that like males would play female characters.
Yeah, there's definitely that.
And I'm saying maybe it's more acceptable in this current. What are we in, Gen Z? What are they called now? What are the kids called?
I forget what she called herself.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
I know exactly
and none of the stuff that makes sense to us.
Yeah, man, the stuff that we kind of like looked at and was like, whoa, that's a little. They kind of look at it as normal.
You got it. So, but that's maybe that's that manga and
Because I look at furry as one thing, and she looks at it as something totally different.
Correct. And there was I'm not familiar with this, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth too much. But there was I guess there's an anime cartoon now where there's a male character that dresses in a French maid outfit.
Yes.
And there were tons of dudes, and I'm like, what is this? And somebody's like, oh yeah, that's such and such show, and I can't even repeat it. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So it's getting people that have this comfort level, and they're able to be them. Let's say they're able to be themselves. So they go, I'm going to dress up as an anime character so I can be me.
So I've been lately, because I know this when she was in the My Hero Academia and all that stuff. But as she starts to drift into these other ones, like I really have to look through the books before I allow her to read them, because she'll buy strictly off of a cover thing or something she's heard of as being cool, and then I go and look through it, and dude's got
right,
and I'm like, whoa. And this is issue 5. Like, how many of these have you seen? You know what I mean?
They're a little more loose with what.
Oh, totally loose. And I'm just like, no, this is full on porn right here. You know what I mean? Like,
right. What's the cooking one on? There's one on Netflix right now, Lucy.
Oh yeah,
really good. What's the cooking one?
Like a chef, right?
And that's the thing that you have to be worried about as a parent. Is you have to know.
But that's what the kids are watching.
The kids are watching. If they see it on Netflix, if you don't watch it with them, you're going to miss it.
Or if they see it on TikTok, they're seeing edited pictures of something, and then when they go and read or watch it, that ain't the context of what the show is about. So you have to really like look at it. And like I was watching this one with my daughter, and she was like, "Yeah, it's such and such." I sat down and watched it. It's about a bunch of kids that are gamblers, and they go to school to gamble and like murder people, like, you know what I mean? Like it was like, you know, playing poker and murder, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, and like teddy bears killing for people and people killing teddy bears, and like it was just like some wild stuff, and I was just like, nah, we're not watching that.
Have you guys ever seen Full Metal Alchemist?
Yeah,
okay. If you've ever heard anybody explain that show to you, you know exactly what we're talking about. Laura's like, "What's Full Metal Alchemist?" I'm like, "It's two brothers and they learn alchemy, which means it's like magic, but magic always takes back. So their mom died and they tried to bring her back to life, but one of them died. The other one lost his arm and his leg, and she's like, "What the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
damn near lost everything, but he's in a
a suit of armor because he wrote his name on it, but the other dude's got a metal arm, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You got to watch it. Like,
you got to watch it from the beginning.
You got to definitely proof that stuff with these kids because they reach."
I'm so excited that they're bringing back Trigun.
Oh my god!
I'm just waiting for that damn Tekken to debut on Netflix, like they've been promising for months.
Yeah,
dude, Gundam. Remember Gundam builds?
Yeah,
yeah,
I love Gundam builds.
Dude, I got a bunch of them, man. I was just getting into the whole like what do you call it, where you do like the line, the etching in there, and I was starting to get into that, and I'm like, dude, I'm going too far.
Dude, my daughter and I used to go to Gundam build nights. My 14-year-old, and she's like, I don't like comics. I won't read comics. I don't read trade paperbacks. I'm like, let's go build Gundam. She's like, nah, and I'm like, you're coming with me. Her and I used to go to Gundam build nights at Straight Up Nerd Shop all the time, and she's like, this is freaking fantastic. I love
dude, it's dope. Once you start doing it, it's sick.
She built the bear Gundam with the missiles.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, we got to do better than Cowboy Bebop and have a live adaptation that, you know, makes it a little bit further.
I want to be good.
Fist of the North Star was done poorly in the 80s, and it's still great. Like, it's an underground classic. If you love that, if you love Kenshiro, man, that's the man with the 7 scars is still there to, you know, let some people blow up in front of you on screen. But it's cheesy effects for the day. But I'm looking forward to some things that are, let's just say, better adaptations. I know. I was just thinking of them too, and I totally lost my train of thought.
I heard a couple of rumors today. I don't know how true they are. I heard My Hero Academia was one.
That's one of them.
And then I heard Dragon Ball, like where Feige was supposed to get involved. I don't know.
Man, look, they can't do another live action.
I saw
Dragon
that
Ball.
too, man.
Yeah,
I saw that live action Dragon Ball with Feige.
I'm not putting my breath on it.
I guess I hired all those white dudes to play Dragon Ball characters.
Do you remember that DiCaprio was tied to a live action Akira project?
Yep.
What's going on? I know that was like pre-COVID, and then COVID like squashed that. I think.
Yeah, because they had a big time director producer.
How do you pronounce his name?
Taika Waititi.
Yes, thank you for Lord of. I butcher his name
Dude,
every time.
That show would be so freaking hard to adapt to live action.
Yeah, I mean,
what, Akira?
Yeah, like how would you do that? Like how would
special effects?
How would you do any anime?
Yeah,
it's a live action.
I mean,
like
really now, just have the actors you need on a
in a green suit, right?
with a green screen, dude. It's
I know, but I'd rather just see
everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the technology that's being developed out of like streaming Star Wars stuff and some of the streaming content now, that technology, they start to adapt that in a larger sense. We're going to start getting a lot of more better special effects and graphics at a better rate that they're going to be able to pump out a lot easier without spending millions.
Dude, I gotta
drop another Avatar. We're going to go another 20 years of advancement in technology just in the stuff that he now lets us play with after his movie's done.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, and then that movie was sick as fuck.
Which one?
Avatar.
For its day. Avatar. Yeah.
Dude, I love
Avatar.
Dude, that movie was hard, man. And they
But do you really think the sequel is going to do as good as the first one?
Nah, but I mean, I don't even. I mean, if they have the mech suits,
my son is like, "What are they doing? When they put the ponytails together?" I'm like, "They're getting down."
Right?
That's how they do it.
That's old enough to know that. My son is still 5 years old.
Yeah, you'll have to explain that weird one.
Slow down there.
That mech suit though was hard. That was the dopest way. They did it the dopest so far was to do with the mech suit.
Hold on one second. I want to see if we can answer this question. Is it an app out there where people can read indies the same way we can do with Marvel Unlimited?
Hoopla.
Used to be Comixology, but they closed.
Hoopla.
Really?
Hoopla. I knew Andy would know.
Oh,
Hold on, Andy. You
and-
took the sagas down, bro?
No, they're all up there.
Oh, they up there. Okay,
Yeah.
they're above your head. Okay.
They're
I was
all
looking. I was
They're
looking
always
right,
at the top.
right behind you.
They're always at the top for him.
always at the top. Seriously, Hoopla. I do the bulk of my reading on Hoopla now because of how much money you can save if you've got a library card. That's it. Brian Simpleman's Comics. That's one of his most watched videos on his channel is how to read comics on Hoopla.
Nice.
Dope.
So how
Yeah,
do you read comics on Hoopla?
We got the Brady Bunch in the
I
house
need to
now.
take.
Oh,
I need to take a
what's
advantage.
up?
How was Dallas?
It was good. It was good. Really good show.
Yeah, I'm hot, y'all. Didn't check in before touching down in my city, but it's all right. No,
But I think you were on
man,
a
I
boat
was-
anyways, weren't you?
yeah, I was on the boat. Man, I was conflicted. Man, I was like, dang, do I want to go to the show or do I want to go on the cruise? I was like, man, I gotta
Hey, how
go
was
on
the cruise though?
I gotta go on the cruise. It was dope, man. Like, I don't really drink. Like, if anybody know me, I don't really drink. But man, they had this drink called the Twilight Zone. Man, I was drinking them like water, man. Like, we was going to these. They was doing like live. It was like concerts, right? It was
Yep.
like a kind of like a cover. It's not like it's kind of like a cover band, but they sing, they dance. So me and my wife and my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, we was going to these live concerts every night, and they did 80s night, and you know they did everything. You know, Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. Man, it was real good time. You know, but you know it's a cruises. Look, eat, drink, gamble, watch live shows.
Did you find the ice cream machines?
I know,
You know, they
right?
got them on. You know, them like they got them on every corner. They got them on every corner in them cruise ships. But now we want to do the Alaskan cruise. But I also told my wife I want to do the Hawaii cruise.
Laura
Then I
won't
wanna
do
do the
Alaskan
cruise
cruises
to-
with me because she went on
to-
that
to
cruise with her
London.
ex-boyfriend. I won't do
But
it.
yeah, I want to do some of them West Coast cruises, man. Because that was my second time going
Leave
to
it to us to
the
bring it up.
going to the Bahamas.
Mm.
I want to do some of them West Coast cruises. The West Coast
Dude,
cruise is expensive.
Let's do a cruise. I'm down, Ninth. I'll take the fam and we'll go on a cruise with you. Let's go to the Caribbean.
Yeah, let's do it. I
People think
just
I'm
came
from
from the Caribbean. I said I'm tired of going over there.
Well, let's go Mexico then, or Hawaii.
That's what I said. Mexico. For me, it got to be Mexico. Alaska is the main one I want, or Hawaii.
I
But
won't go to Alaska.
a cruise ship would be a great place to have a comic book convention.
Right?
Fucking great place.
I'm with it.
Great place. Because look, you can't go. No, you can't. I feel like if you think about the convention, the number one thing is, all right, you gotta walk from your hotel to the convention. You gotta worry about how far that is.
Right.
Look, everything will be all inclusive. Your room, your board, you got food on the cruise. Like they got plenty of shops that they can set up for vendors. It's just everything will be right there. And now they got cell phone service on the cruise, the same as you would have if you was on land. Like
It better.
Seriously?
It better give you Wi-Fi at least.
yeah, so you can have like your con festivities during the day, and then at night you still can have all the other stuff that that come with it. So
Yeah.
that would be a
Get
that'd be a
at
dope
me.
thing.
I've been
I'm
on.
in. I'm in.
I've been
Let's
on
do it.
like I want to say I've been on like 12 or 13 cruises. I'm counting them in my head.
Yeah, see you up there with my wife. This was only my second cruise. My wife been on. Man,
My
she been
wife's
on
the one
too
that
many
drags
of them
me.
to
She
count.
knows how to do it. So, but we went on this European cruise. It was dope too.
See, that's the one I want to do. That European cruise, man. That
Everybody thought I was
Ugh.
Spanish, and then when I went to France, everybody thought I was French. It was dope.
You flew out there first.
I got
and
that
you-
good. I got that nice in between skin color, so everybody thought I was from where we
From
were
Europe.
at.
You have
They're
the
like
olive,
Parlez-vous
you have the
Français. I'm like,
olive color, and
I'm from
you have the olive color.
I do got that olive color. I do. They're like, "Oh, are you from here?" I'm like, "No."
He's like,
No,
I'm from the other hemisphere.
I'm from the other hemisphere. Let's get some of that limoncello in me real quick.
I couldn't do
Italy
it. I
was my
couldn't do it.
jam.
I'm claustrophobic and I get seasick.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
Just watch the land as you leave.
The
man.
seasick was rough. Laura and I went to dinner when we were in Europe, going to like Barcelona, and that shit was rocking. And we're eating dinner. I'm like, we need to go. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna make it back to the room if we don't go now. So we like pick up our plates and we're out. She's running down the hall. She's like, you're such a baby. And then after like an hour of the shit moving, she's all right, good call. I'm grabbing our shit and running the hell out of the dinner hall. She knows what's up.
Now, one night I had a few drinks, and I was like, damn, I don't know if this ship tipsy or if I'm tipsy. But I kept on hearing everybody else saying, damn, this ship is rocking back and forth, back and forth.
Walking straight.
And I was like, man, yeah, I'm like, bro, I thought it was me.
You got that lean.
Yeah.
Towards the wall. You're like, damn.
Fellas, I'm out of here for the night. It was great hanging out with everybody. My in-laws just walked in, so I got to go be nice and give hugs and kisses.
All right, man.
All right, brother. Thank you for stopping by.
All right, my people.
James,
I'll let you.
James, what exclusives y'all drop at Dallas, man?
What was that?
What exclusives y'all drop at Dallas?
Oh, I saw
We
that
dropped
acrylic.
an acrylic covered, canceled, limited to 50,
And
and
acrylic.
yeah, and that might have been it. I did just get home though to a bunch of boxes, and I wasn't expecting this yet, but we just got the one for Denver in.
Can y'all show that? What book is that?
Mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a David Mack cover?
Oh, Mindset.
No. It's a Simmons cover.
Oh, okay.
Or Drummond.
Simmons
cover.
Ricardo Drummond.
Yeah, Ricardo Drummond.
Yeah, that is dope. That is dope. Yeah, I've been looking into that mindset book. I mean, I look at everything. As far as anything that's coming up on FOC, I always gotta pay attention to that for the Wednesday show cover picks. But that, man, I always feel like with indies, it's kind of hard to tell, what's gonna be hot and what's gonna flop. And I always feel like it's on the content creators and the retailers to kind of make some of these books hot. And the only thing about it is that you have to read this stuff to figure out what's good and what's just being pushed out there. And even on the cruise, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna have some downtime. I'm gonna read as much as possible. Bro, I didn't even make it through the 2 last Ronins that I've been wanting to finish reading for months. Every damn time I picked that book up, something happened to where I had to stop reading and get up. It was like, I'll make it through a page, had to get up and get through something else. So I've been telling myself number one thing I want to do is try to find a way to get advanced copies of a book. That way I can kind of read some of this stuff before it comes out, and I'm not having to wait until the actual, till the book is actually out in comic book stores, so I can have a little bit of a better feel for these books before I do my cover pick show, so I can kind of have an idea of, hey, this actually might be a good book, instead of me just trying to read the synopsis or any art that's out there or judging based on the people that's involved with the project to tell if it's good. Because, like looking at the new James Tynion book, I'm like, it's James Tynion, so it should be good. But at the same time, I'm like, man, should it really? Because he got a lot of projects out there right now, and some of them, he's not even doing the writing on it anymore. Like, is that a sign that he's getting stretched too thin? It's just like so many different angles. And I want for indie books to do better and to kind of be, a driving force in the industry. But at the same time, I don't want to push, books on people if I'm not 100% certain that it's going to be a really good project. And that's the one thing that I got to give retailers a lot of respect for, because you guys throw a lot of money into these projects, not knowing if 100% all the time if these books are going to hit or not. And that's the thing I was trying to tell the people, like, yeah, the consumer, they can do a certain amount of research, but you think about it, even the guys that's investing thousands of dollars into doing these exclusives, they're not able to do a lot of research, because some of these books you do not know until you get 4, 5, 6 issues in, especially if it's ongoing, to know if it's going to be worth, its weight in dirt. So, big shout out to James, Anthony, and all the retailers that's doing it on a big level, making investments into these books. Trying to, because I know, James, I know you read, advanced copies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know you and Jonathan try to get a good idea for the books before y'all put them out, but I just want to let it be known that's a tough thing to do, man. So y'all, if y'all buy exclusive for retailers and it don't turn out to be the next something that's killing the children, don't come back crying and complaining. That come with the game. That come with the game, man.
Not just investments, but smart investments. I pay as much attention as I do to Hive and to Bird City and 616 Comics and a lot of the other ones that were really close to in the community, because they're investing smartly. They have a business. You know what I mean? They're making smart choices, because as a completionist collector, I'm on the front line of variant burnout. Like, seriously, like Something Is Killing the Children is the only other indie book that I'm still getting all copies right now, and I'm about done. When Ultra said there's a 250, I was like, my stomach just flipped, because I'm like,
and then how many retailers are allowed to do covers for that too?
I know, right? Like, but that's why I pay attention to Hive and Bird City and a lot of these other great retailers, because they're making smart investments on books. So when they drop an exclusive, I'm paying attention.
Yeah, we just had another one that we did a cover for got announced today, that Midnight Western Theater.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw somewhere that might be option.
Yeah, they're doing I think they said a TV series or something like that is in the works for it.
Yeah.
But
So,
hey, you can say smart investments all you want, but this was in one of the packages I came home to, and I don't know how smart of an investment that is.
What is that?
Is that Dom? Oh,
those are diamonds.
Is that
I remember you told me something about that a few weeks ago.
Is that a not good one right now? I haven't been watching that.
No, diamonds. These are going into a cover, Andy. These are going into a comic book.
So you just tingled my 90s right there.
Like, rip those off the dress that she borrowed from Marilyn Monroe.
You heard about that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad.
How are you going to borrow Marilyn Monroe's dress from a museum and turn it back here with missing diamonds?
How do you think that you're going to borrow that and not mess it up? That was a fucking dummy move. That was that insurance, or that museum was like, thank you, because you got us up out of this bitch. Now we got money. You on the hook now. We can walk away. You just bought it, baby.
Well, we found the diamonds.
Thanks, Toots.
Yeah. Shout out to Kim.
Yeah, go ahead on, man. That's what you get. You just bought it.
So I'm not gonna lie, probably like 10% of these ended up in my laptop, though.
Oh no!
Oh, diamond chips and such.
Yeah, just a bunch of diamond chips in my laptop.
So your laptop just got more expensive.
You just kept playing with them all the time.
Well, what you want to do is you want to go get a piece of paper, then turn your laptop upside down and shake it.
Yeah.
Or kind of
parchment paper.
You use painter's tape. Cover the keyboard with painter's tape in rows, and then
just shake the fuck out of it. Yeah.
Hey, Yeezy. Do you know why the Scarecrow had so many awards?
Why?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh. All right, guys, I'm out. No.
James, how many carats are each one of those? Are those like a half a carat, a quarter of a carat, or
no? These are like microscopic. It's like 300 diamonds, and it's just a little over 1 total carat.
So basically, when they were cutting the diamonds, they gave these guys a bunch of the slivers that came off the diamonds that were being cut.
Actually, these ones are shaped.
Oh, you're kidding!
Faceted.
You're not kidding.
That's cool, man.
Wow.
These are faceted.
Wow. So is it going to be a 1 of 1?
That's the plan. Yeah.
Oh.
See, Andy was like, "Oh, wait! I have a chance." And then, believe me, Andy, the carbon fiber 1 of 1 that these guys had at MegaCon, I was like, "Wait, what? 1 of 1? What?"
Dude, I was on one of their shows and they sold one of those a different cover that was of carbon fiber, and I'm so pissed I didn't buy that shit.
Dude, I'm pissed we didn't keep one. Me and Jonathan were talking about that today. He's like, "Did we keep any of those?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure we did not."
Yeah,
Let the bidding begin.
that shit was so tight.
No, I think
I
the
like
plan
logged
is
on right as it was going, like it was ending. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I think the plan is to do a 1-of-1 with the diamonds. Do like a 5 run with like rubies, and then like
please make it a white queen cover.
With emerald. But the 1-of-1, we might just give it away. I don't even know what our plan is with it yet. I don't even know if we're gonna sell it. Like,
put it in a mystery box, you know.
Yeah, do exactly. Drop a mystery pack style, and someone's gonna end up with the 1-of-1 diamond cover.
Are you guys doing any Hellfire Gala variants?
Hellfire Gala?
Yeah. Anything with Emma Frost?
I see where you're getting at with that.
Yeah, you know where my head's at.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
Mutant at heart. Apparently,
Marvel, man,
that's one of our mutants because of our height and apparently only being less than 10% of the population.
Marvel, man, they so strict. They probably wouldn't let them put a diamond into a cover, man.
Or make it a 1-on-1 for that matter.
Yeah, or make it a 1-on-1. Stuff.
And once I own the book, they technically can't tell me what to do with them, but they can tell me I can't do a book with them ever again.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Still got your books, James.
I know, man. I know. I'll get to it.
I'm gonna have to repress them, bro.
I know. Been holding on to them for such a long time now. How many times have you read them?
Oh, I got some chicken grease on them, man.
It happens. No worries.
I put my cereal bowl on them.
Funny, man.
Hey, you seen this one, Brian? Look at this newsstand. Can you hear?
Lost in Space too. That's tight.
Look, you seen this newsstand? Lost in Space.
That's cool.
No, he's talking to somebody.
You seen that, Brian?
That's dope, dude. I'll be right back. My brother just locked his fucking keys in his car.
Oh. There's not many people palm a comic book like that. I mean,
I always think of Mercenot when
Homicide.
I say a palming of a comic book.
I mean, for reference,
fucking Lenio, bro.
I'm barely holding on to that, and he's doing it comfortably, and I'm kind of bending it.
Here you go. Like I'm comfortable, palming a card.
Oh, card.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I got little hands, man. So much. I'm not palm. I can't even palm a basketball.
So I mean, are you guys specking on anything? Nobody specs anymore, dude. You know what I mean?
What? No, man.
Wait.
See.
With the exception of what you do, the spec matrix. I'm saying like
his name. Always be specking is what it says.
Well, yeah, but where do you see this Marvel ending up? Because let
me preface this by one thing and one thing only.
Hold on. Let me ask Andy a question real quick. Then Ultra, I want Ultra to go. Andy, I never really seen you do a spec video where you say, "Oh, you should go buy this book, and that book." But anytime, I just saw you post 10 first Dr. Afra. So is that just in your brand, where you kind of do what you do behind the scenes, but your videos are just kind of more informative, more hey, look, this the best way to do this, the best way to do that, without getting too deep, into the spec side of it?
So actually, that's I'm really glad you brought that up, because I've kind of taken a 2-week summer hiatus, kind of a break, to try to kind of rethink some of my content and what I'm going to be doing going forward, because there's so many great personalities and channels out there that talk about comic speculation on the regular, that I kind of feel like what I have to bring to the table is my opinion. And I think I do that better here in a group setting like this than trying to do it on my channel and bring more people over there, because essentially we start counterfeiting ourselves if all of the channels are talking spec and we're all visiting each other's channels, the content kind of continues to be the same. And I'm trying to actually utilize my channel as a way to learn and grow for my own public speaking and my own professional career. And it challenges me to sit there and sit down and come up with actual content that I feel is something that I'm passionate about, but I think is actually educational and rewarding for people watching, which is kind of why I took a break, because I kind of hit like a wall. Like I'm like, let's kind of think about what I'm doing here. What am I actually providing for people? Because what we're doing here, we organically provide 8 or 9 different opinions in a healthy, safe conversation where we can debate, and everybody here is comfortable saying it's okay to debate and have differing opinions. We all realize that. This is a really cool spot for that. That's kind of what we provide here. I don't really know. I'm going to continue doing something once or twice a week on my channel, but like the spec side of things, I do want to get more into it. I'm passionate about it, but I don't want to be I'm really passionate about this, and then I made a really bad choice and I got to pay for it, but I don't want other people to pay for it because of the choices that I make. But like Dr. Afra is one that I really like. I'm pretty sure like all of us can agree that something somewhere, something's got it. Like that's my lazy summer spec for the summertime, is I could sit back, buy on the dip, and I feel comfortable with that. But I'm rambling.
Look, if they give Hayden Christensen, I'm just saying, if they give this dude a Darth Vader series, we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But in these types of shows too, you get 9 different opinions of people who might be on their own specking on something, and you can pick which one you align yourself with and go that route. You don't have, there's not one overall, you got to go get this book or go get that one. Like the same books I might like aren't the same books that Joe likes or Aaron or Ultra or, Ninth. You guys, we might not be aligned, but I might agree with you on the Afra and start going after a bunch of Afra.
I'm growing my collection right now. I'm not really speculating to make money. I'm not buying 100 copies of a book to flip the A cover and keep the incentives. I am going to my LCS and being like, I know that book's selling for a little bit more than what they're selling for. I might buy this one this week. And sometimes I'll pick up a book like that.
Yep.
But I'm not out here like trying to be like I'm clearing eBay or anything like that, unless there's only one of the book that I'm buying, and then it just happens to be on eBay at the time. There's a lot of ability to create spec where there is none in this environment that we live in, and instant gratification, and of course, easy access to a lot of books. But real spec happens when somebody's making a video, other people are over here looking at other stuff. I actually speculate on other comics. I don't rely on movie appearances or anything like that to actually influence my comic purchasing ability. I look at speculation driving forward a story, maybe a story arc only, might only be a short spec window, but like Wonder Man showing up as far as a Disney Plus show, I bet you $1 million there's going to be a resurgence of that character now. And they're going to start pushing them in comic books. She's going to start making more appearances. They might even give them a miniseries just to kind of test the character. And they've been doing a lot of that, like to kind of like.
I can't wait for the Peach Momoka Wonder Man variant.
Oh boy, not me. You can keep that design variant 1/100 incentive for $130 or more.
All right. One thing that I do worry about, well, I don't worry about it. I actually would welcome it. Is Marvel kind of doing, what they did with Captain Carter and spinning somebody from the comic books to the MCU really fast, like putting them on that fast track. I hope they don't go to that well like too many times, but I would like to see it to kind of keep people on their toes. Like pull some characters that you just created, pull some characters that you created within the past 10 years, go back to some of the characters who made their first appearance in Gold and Silver Age, kind of, give us a melting pot and not knowing where you're going to come from, where Marvel's going to go next, just to kind of keep everything even, on the even surface and kind of keep people on their toes. Not that Marvel gives a damn about the speculation, but just more from the concept of keeping people interested in your product all the way around. In regards to saying, okay, I still do need to read new comic books because they taking new characters and putting them in the movies. I still need to care about the old stuff. I need to care about the stuff in between. That's kind of what I want to see them do. And I'm not even really just speaking from the speculation, but even just from like making sure that they keeping everything in focus when it comes to which characters they're choosing to develop throughout these different projects.
But Tosin seems to be like one of those chess pieces that they put on the board, and I know that right there, like when Red Hood asked, "What are we specking on?" That's like really the last big spec of 2020 so far. Like that character was one that people caught wind of, paid attention to, and then waited for the second print to come. They didn't third print the book, which is good, right? I guess because they satisfied everybody with a very heavily damaged print run on the second print.
And the first cover appearance too, right?
That too, yeah. And they didn't mess it up by having another book come out before that.
Or do a 1 in 25 for it or something like that. I'm surprised they didn't do that. Like,
me too, man.
But I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't.
But and that's just it. Ferdbird is talking exactly about it in the chat. Tosin pissed so many people off that missed out on it. And that's just true. Those are the people who FOMO'd.
Yeah.
They FOMO'd the spec. They're like, oh, what do you mean it's a first appearance of a character that I didn't know about? And many places try to give you a heads up about these things. And this is the reason why if you're really going to follow the right people, they're going to give away the information and they're going to give you all the stuff for free up front in advance and let you make your decisions to do what you will with that information. And they're not telling you to buy books that they have for sale. They're telling you to buy books that they too themselves are buying because they believe in the spec behind it. But that's a good question, Hood. So let me ask you, man, other than Tosin, well, I can name one, but I'm going to save it, see if the panel can come up with this one. What other characters this year have been introduced that you believe might be spec worthy?
This year?
Yeah, I mean, we're almost 7 months into 2022.
No, right? Isn't that scary?
A little bit. I mean, but Tosin's definitely number one of all spec worthy first appearances that have come out so far this year. But who's number two? And let's just see, is there a top five? Is there even 5 first appearances that have happened this year that have made an impact on their specific universe, but are viable enough that you can see growth or potential?
That's tough. Man, I may be missing something, but like other than Tosin, like I see Lyra Bloodstone. I don't know. I was talking to Wilbert, and I was telling him, hey, like books to be getting on the cheap are like hard to find variants of like Namor with badass artists and Submariner, because man, I just got a feeling like he's just gonna pop off, man. Like it's always those sub characters in a movie that have a chance to shine, and I just think that that's a character that nobody really delves into, like Submariner. Like screw the Golden Age and the Silver Age. Like there's a lot of great artwork of like Submariner, like Michael Turner and Gelato, and like that's what I could see like going up. I mean, I was talking a little bit to Wilbur about like, what are some things, also Armor Wars, and that's still in play.
Armor Wars 2, or Secret Wars Armor Wars.
I wouldn't you say the first one?
I can tell you right now, the fan favorite is definitely Armor Wars 2.
Really?
Punisher.
John Romita Jr. art may be horrible in a lot of places, but man, could he draw some bulky looking Iron Man armors. And just as far as storyline goes, I believe Armor Wars 2 was a little bit more of a
kind of fits in with
kind of a sellable moment, I guess you can say, as far as the setup in the current Marvel universe. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of there is good spec in Namor, but I think Red Hood or Red Claw. I'm sorry, Red Claw getting a mainstream DC
Red Claw
introduction into the mainstream universe. It's not as big, obviously, as Tosin because he's a brand new original character. But her graduating from the Batman Adventures animated books over to the mainstream DCU, I think, is a big thing. And I wonder if that had something to do with why that second Sozomika Catwoman variant is doing well. It's because there's a lot of people that might be trying to hedge their bets. And then as soon as that one drops in hand and they miss the other one, to be like, oh, I have the first full. You guys have a cameo. I got a first full. No.
And both covers are dope. So
yeah, and that's love for the artist. So I mean, I obviously I buy the art that I like, obviously too. Yeah. But I really can't think of any characters. What about you, Yi? Can you think of anybody new?
Well, I saw someone in the chat say Sakura or whatever, but wasn't Deadpool Black, White, and Blood issue 4? Wasn't that in 2021 still? I mean, and then
this is her first cover appearance, right?
Well, this year is her first cover appearance.
First cover appearance in America. Like she's appeared like in Japan now, but that's a character. Like, do you really think that she's long term?
Or do you think we'll see her anytime soon? Honestly,
like at best, I could see that like being like one of the 100 characters that are introduced into Spider-Verse 2 or whatever. That I don't think it's going to be anyone new for a while. I think it's going to be like characters that are, I guess, like that have been slept on, that are considered like, you know, C or D list characters, or even like below that, where people just like
Trace Hunter in the chat said the new Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But he's kind of like,
but he's already Swordmaster. I mean, you know,
that's what I'm saying. Like he's already Swordmaster, and then became Iron Fist. But I don't know, that might work, because they could just flat out introduce him as Iron Fist and then flash back to him as Swordmaster and be like, done.
Yeah.
It's magic.
I guess that's where I've been as a content creator with YouTube, is it doesn't seem there's a lot like really kind of driving me and getting me really excited right now. There's a couple of things that you guys have talked about that I'm not like fully vested in, and I'm not like super 100% interested in. Like I'll grab a copy and I'll read, but man, besides
I was going to tell you, Andy, like if these Marvel shows had been like fire, would we be talking about comic books the way we are right now? Like if Hawkeye just wrecked it, and like all these Hawkeye shows, like, well, I mean, there's something to be said about like some of the episodes dragged. I mean, like if they if they were all fire, like just unbelievable, and you finished watching that series, like, oh shit, would we be talking about like books on the decline, and people would still be buying at a frenzy? And I'm telling you, this TV content, movie content, it's a real thing, because the movies are driving the comics now. It's not the other way around. Like, so like it's like a stock market, man. We need these characters to perform in the fucking Super Bowl, bro. I
actually think like the movies are taking a backseat, and it's the next generation streaming content, mini movies and mini series and shows that are actually what should be looking at a little bit more going forward, because the movies are back in the movie theaters and they're doing okay, but even the people creating movies are still a little shaky about the future of movie theaters.
Well, I do know this. This is some of the comments I made doing FOC on the Secret Variant last night. the new Shang-Chi book focusing on the 10 rings, saying Shang-Chi and the 10 rings. It's like, okay, previously, other than the movies, he has never really had that much of an involvement on that side of the 10 rings. That was more like the Mandarin side of things, always Iron Man's enemy. That was where that was. But now they're shifting the focus to make it look and represent more like what the movie in the MCU looks like. And I noticed a couple of things that I said. So here's some spec for some of you guys. If you look at the new book that it just FOC'd today, Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, #1, the focus, and I made an Art Germ comment earlier, there is an Art Germ open order variant that shows Sister Dagger, and then there's a 1 in 100 incentive that also shows Sister Dagger. It's Art Germ without the trade dress on it. Sister Dagger has the same kind of bob haircut that his sister in the movie had. I can see them now slowly kind of like morphing some of their comic characters to try to reference a little bit more what's going on over there. And when Quesada now being out, he was the main person who was like, you need the movies to mimic the comics. And Feige was always like, man, that's, I understand, like there's certain things, but I really need more creative freedom. And now that relationship's not there anymore, I think it's going to be exactly what Red Hood said. That's going to be a little bit more the other way around, where they're going to start to, at least on the Marvel side of things, start to mimic more of what they have in the movies, in the books, to help them sell the books. DC, DC needs to have a good year, and 2022 ain't it. We'll see what next year has for them.
I like Peacemaker.
Outside of Peacemaker?
Outside of Peacemaker. I mean, the Batman was okay.
Okay, those two. But everything else that has happened since then, keeping them in the news is not good news for them.
Did you guys get? Well, I was going to say, did you guys get the spoiler for Obi-Wan for tomorrow?
No, not yet.
Oh, bro.
Is it bad?
Jar Jar Binks, bro.
Ugh, God damn it.
If he's not a Sith Lord, then I don't care.
You're
ultimate powers.
Hold on, chill on the Obi-Wan walk.
Means a Sith now.
Oh, who's the next Grand Inquisitor now?
Mr. Grand Inquisitor.
On the flip side of that, Maximus, I feel like there's some indie stuff in some other section of Marvel where they're creating runs and crossovers and tie-ins for streaming media for the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's their whole deal now is we've got Disney Plus. We can charge people monthly and slow roll them. But you know what I love? I love right now we have a Disney show and a Marvel show that both premiered. So I have 2 hours of entertainment in the morning.
Well, aren't they getting to that where there's going to be a Marvel and or Disney show on like every other week or every week so that?
Oh my God. I certainly hope so, because I'm paying look, I got in and I got to brag because I got in at a really, really good time. And I signed up and I got 3 years for a super discount.
We did the same thing. It was like dirt cheap, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was like $140 for 3 years. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, it's, I have to renew come, I think November or something like this year. Like they didn't start the subscription until it debuted. And when it debuted and Mandalorian came on, I was like, oh, bet this is good. But now I have to pay for it. So now I want my money's worth out of it if I'm paying a monthly subscription rate. See, and they better have multiple Marvel shows. That's what I'm saying.
Just by the year. Just by for the year.
To go back and talk about what you're speccing on as far as new characters, the Mandalorian's not a new character for 2022, but that's something I'm paying really close attention to for this fall or next February for season 3. Paying really close attention.
Star Wars is weird because
it is.
The spec is always reactionary to after an appearance in the shows, with the exception of a few good characters like Dr. Aphra.
Well, let's talk about this. That Darth Vader 20 Sprouse variant and the second print of that. Look at what those are going for raw and near mint condition. Then you factor in your $26 per book pre-screening grading. Then you talk like Ninth Wonder was saying, tack on the fees and all that and call it an even $35, $40 to grade it. So you're $50, $60 for a copy of that book. and it's the first standard Marvel comic book cover appearance of Din Djarin and Grogu. And that book could be found at any convention in near mint condition for $10 a pop. Yep. And nobody's buying it up. And print runs be damned when it comes to Star Wars books, I tell you what, because the larger Star Wars universe family isn't quite keen on some of the books. I mean, they're not on the.
They don't know that like the expanded universe and like everything that's canon for them in between the movies exists in Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And as they find out about it, I know it's going to happen.
So, sure, the print runs might be high on some books, but the Star Wars fandom and universe is so much larger. If I can go buy 20 copies of that book for $10 and have them all come back 9.8 on a pre-screen for $26 a book, I'm at $40 a book. It has dipped, but it's still a $100 book on eBay. It came out the gate swinging at $150 on eBay, and that's between Mandalorian seasons when the major fan base isn't even really like their ears aren't perked, their spidey senses aren't on right now. Like when that show drops season 3 and we get more plans for the future of what they're going to do with Din Djarin, I see that first cover appearance of the standard comic book cover appearance because there's some debate back and forth, but the standard comic book cover appearance, I see that having legs long term. I don't see it being $1,000 9.8. But if you're buying copies at $10 to $15 near mint at a show in your hands and walking away without any crazy fees or shipping fees, I think people aren't talking about that very much right now.
Oh, and look, Late Night Comics says Miss Minutes. That's another one of those reactionary appearances where they appeared first on TV media or movie media and then transported over to the comic book realm.
Well, isn't that just a cover appearance too, though?
It is just a cover appearance. She has not appeared in story yet.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Do y'all think we will see more of that?
Of just cover appearances before actual story appearance?
Marvel creating a character, introducing them into the MCU, and then putting them into the comics.
I think we probably will see more of that, especially if the media takes off, which is really what I thought they were going to do with Skye at the beginning of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then they revealed it to be another character. And I think that was a producer and Marvel arrangement change that they were like, your show's actually good. So you know what? We'll let you have the character. Now you got to go through a season and explain her damn name. But it was cool.
Hey, fellas, I hate to do this. I feel like I just got on, but my wife and my youngest are about home, and I'm going to go hop in the shower before they get here. I haven't seen them.
All right,
hey, we got the
brother. Thank you for stopping by, brother.
Appreciate you.
I'll catch you guys here real soon.
All right. You know who I think is going to show up in this Miss Marvel? It's Quake.
Bro, if they actually do bring Daisy Johnson in to Ms. Marvel,
Mama.
First off, that Secret War, number 2, it's going to go nuts again. It did once before with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But the Secret Warriors, number 1 with the 1 in 50 Robbie Rodriguez. It's got her, Ms. Marvel, Moon Girl, Double Dinosaur. That would be the one to watch.
Or the photo variant of Quake.
Well, the photo variant would be the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. photo variant. Yeah, pretty good one too. But man, that would be you heard it here first, people. Big Remo specking on.
That's good spec. Remo.
Chloe Bennett making an appearance on Ms. Marvel.
Well, I just figure when you see the two people that are chasing after her right now.
Yeah,
you gotta
I haven't seen the latest episode. So.
No, it was after the first one. Remember that they were looking at the phone and they were.
The end.
You missed episode 2 because you were on the boat, right?
Yeah. So this has nothing to do with that. This is just spec off of that. They can't do it as adults. They gotta send somebody who's of their age. You know what I mean? Somebody undercover, maybe in the school.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it when I get off. But yeah, I had downloaded it to watch it on the cruise, but. Man, we ain't watching none of that. I downloaded a bunch of shows. We ain't watching none of it.
So I just hope Amulet shows up and he's got the other.
I don't think he's gonna show up yet. I think if it is, it'll be the next episode. Or next series, next season.
Anybody know the first cover appearance of the Bacta tank?
I don't know, but hey, all I know is that bad boy's putting in some work in these series.
Yeah, everybody's got. Is that the way they take a bath?
I don't know. I mean, everybody has a Bacta tank, man. I was just
like a regenerator.
You know, I remember going to the movies with my dad, and my dad in the theater would, it would be quiet, and he'd say, "Doesn't anybody stop to take a shit?" You know what I mean?
I mean, people could go in there, droids can go in there. It doesn't matter. Just throw it in there.
Droids go in the Bacta tank? Doesn't fry their circuits?
Right? Yeah. Isn't how like Luke was cleaning them in A New Hope?
Yeah, Luke. What's the dude that got repaired at the end? They put him in there too. Remember? The guy who got shot in the chest, and they took it. He used to have what's the sheriff?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but like, what's her name's going to end up in the Bacta tank now, right?
Wouldn't doubt it.
So there's a deeper conversation there, because for anybody that hasn't watched the last episode or the last episode before that can turn away before spoilers. But they're claiming 3, 2, 1. Is it? Are we spoiler free? Or they're claiming
no, because yeah, Knight hasn't watched.
Oh, he hasn't seen it. Yeah,
that's why he took his
earbuds out.
Oh, thanks for stopping me then. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, go ahead. I think
go ahead, man.
Give me a thumbs up, Ninth. Is he watching? You good? You thumbs up? You thumbs down? Okay. Well, they're claiming he's gonna put him back in now, isn't he? I goofed. I done goofed. He's typing. Well, they're claiming that because she was one of the younglings, they're claiming that that's where Anakin stabbed her in the same spot. So potentially survivable without a Bacta tank. I don't know.
She's survivable.
No, man. They're making her live.
She's alive.
Obi-Wan's gonna have to take her out.
Doesn't LeBron James have a Bacta tank?
He does.
Michael Jackson did.
Hey, the first Bacta tank I ever seen was at T.O.'s house. He had one.
I heard Elvis is still in his Bacta tank.
Michael Jackson, bro.
With the blue suede shoes, baby.
All right, I think Knife is back. He's
no. He said when we're done, tell him in the chat.
Yeah, that's what. No, I wrote that. that.
Okay.
I'm glad I mentioned something and didn't go too off the cuff too fast, because I heard you guys say he didn't see the other episode, but I wasn't sure if that was Obi-Wan or something.
Yeah, no, he hasn't seen the second episode of Obi-Wan.
He's been on a boat.
The latest episode of
Atlantic or some shit.
Yeah, but hey, Ninth, can we spec? Can we spec Ninth on the last episode?
No, he's muted now.
I'm gonna take myself off. I'm gonna put myself on mute and take my headphones out so y'all can talk about that.
I think we're good.
Who do you guys think is going to come out in the last episode, man?
So this is the last episode then, right?
Yeah, because it's only gonna be 6 episodes.
Okay, so if it's 6 episodes, then somehow there's a showdown with the Grand Inquisitor, the dude with the samurai guy,
Sun Chang.
Oh,
yeah, because he has it out for
back to take top.
She's gonna have to fight. She's gonna have to fight him.
That's the 10th brother, right?
I don't remember which brother.
Second brother.
So he's going to have to fight her, and then Obi-Wan's going to have to do a dance because he's going to have to kill somebody because the girl that saved him.
So I get the feeling that we're not going. I get the feeling that we're not going to get a new character because Anakin and Vader have not had anywhere near as much screen time for 6 episodes as what's been talked about and what's been kind of leaked and dropped. I think we're going to get a lot of Vader. We're going to get a lot of the Grand Inquisitor and Obi-Wan, and I think that's going to be it. I don't think we're going to get a new character personally.
No Qui-Gon?
Oh, like a ghost Qui-Gon or whatever?
So he teaches them how to commune with the Force?
Maybe towards the end, like when you see Obi-Wan back on Tatooine, right?
Powerful Jedi.
That was actually in the trilogy. Like Qui-Gon showed up and said, Obi-Wan, and he goes, Master. Like he freaked out because
So do you think that Leia's her dad or whatever, You think he's
Bail
not,
Organa?
I don't think that's him. I don't think it's him because you see the hologram.
Yeah.
When he was talking to Obi-Wan, he didn't even ask about Leia. He was just like, I hope. He was like, I hope. Nah, he was like, I hope you're okay. You. He didn't say
No.
anything.
He started talking about
Maybe he has a crush on her.
That's why she's on the hunt, man. She's going after the boy now in Tatooine, and she's going to leave Vader.
Yeah, I see.
We don't know. We'll just have to see.
I don't know. Something's not right. I don't think with Leia's pops.
Okay, so I also heard I went to band practice, and all my bandmates are huge Star Wars fans, and they were watching other content creators on specifically Star Wars, and they hinted at the fact that that you could tie into like the Force Unleashed games because you see Vader pulling down the ship.
Dude, if they give Starkiller a fucking go, there's going to be a lot of people happy, but I think there's going to be even more people pissed.
Yep. Right, I agree. I mean, I'd be one of the people thrilled about it because I love the game, but yeah, I think it's going to piss off more people than it's going to make happy.
Starkiller's fucking OP, man. Let's just be honest. He's super OP. Like him being there is like, well, I guess nobody else needs to fight now. And like,
no, but Ultra, I think Ultra's got a point. Like, if they don't do a season 2 and they do a Darth Vader season 1, man,
sorry, real quick. Eric Hurd said Reva's going to Tatooine and going to Owen and Luke's home. Hopefully, a mind wipe of Leia so it makes things canon. Why would he have to mind wipe Leia?
Because Leia didn't know Ben in a
She
New
didn't.
Hope. No.
What are you talking about? What
Yes,
about
she
that?
did.
Yes, she did. She says you're the only one we can trust. You're our only hope. Yeah.
You're my only hope. But when they meet up later, she makes fun of him, calls him an old man, and does not recognize him to the point where it would have been canon.
Well, she hasn't
to have
seen him in a long time, though.
Dude,
no, because in the hologram, she goes, years ago, you helped my father.
You helped my father. You didn't help me.
Yeah, nothing about her.
Yeah, you remember when you helped me? Help me again.
But she did help her father find
in the Clone
her.
Wars.
In the Clone Wars,
she was talking about the Clone Wars,
she
which happened before
Wars.
she was even born, and basically she does not remember him. So if they don't wipe her mind, it's a huge plot hole. Which they had plot holes, and they fixed it with this last episode because there was a lot of people. I think this stuff was already filmed, so it's not like the fan base really had any impact on the changing of the episode. You know what I mean? So it's just it's one of those things, man. But there's a lot of people who are keeping tabs on everything that has happened in the Star Wars universe to make sure that the timeline does not get affected. Because if there's a slightest little bit of a deviance, man, they're gonna.
Are we finished with spoilers so we can get Knife back in?
Yeah, we're talking about other shit.
Oh yeah, because we're not even talking about
we're speculating on the next episode.
Yeah, we're speculating on the end.
Man, I don't understand about people that can't hear spoilers. Like, I don't care if you tell me what happens at the end, because the screen is going to present a whole different.
Well, I got to see it for myself.
If you already have a preconceived notion of what you're about to see, then it like kind of then it kind of influences you on like your opinion, right? On that person's opinion of how they felt about it. So like instead of seeing it fresh and clean with no preconceived notions, like it can like
maybe that's why I don't like any of the shit coming out. You know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't be spoiled, dude. You know what I mean? And maybe I'll like it because I didn't know what was going to happen in Top Gun Maverick, and I fucking love that movie, dude.
That's people putting their feet down and actually saying, I want to do this the right way, or what they feel is the right way. That was like really well done stunts, very little CGI. And I'll tell you guys in the community that's here watching tonight, I work in aviation. That's the closest 90% of the world's going to get to being inside of an FA-18. And that feel, that sound, that is legit. I've been around them. I've been 3 feet from them. The engine's running. That is real. It is legit. Like, I'm totally in love with that movie. That was the part 2 that we needed for that movie, and done in the way it should have been done.
Bro, Penny Benjamin, bro. You know what I mean? Penny Benjamin.
But seriously, Red Hood, like talking about like the possibility of a Vader series going on after this at some point in conjunction, whether or not they do a season 2 of Obi-Wan in conjunction, is why I've been buying every Vader book I can find for like the last 2 years. Everything, dollar, boom, gone. Buying all of them. It's just because even if they didn't do anything, I'd still be in love with those books.
Because correct me if I'm not wrong here. In the Vader book, it's a very big solo kind of like what Vader was up to in between A New Hope and Return of the or Empire Strikes Back. So there's a ton of story that like can be filled in there, and that's what I think like the Disney Plus shows should focus on.
Yeah,
the filling in the gap between the movies, adapting all the comic book stuff that has been written thus far to push that story. And then they can go from beyond there. But Taika Waititi said that he's doing something that is not going to give any of the known characters any love. So I think he's doing High Republic.
Well, we do need to move away from this story because it's, for all intents and purposes, it's over.
Well, yeah, I mean, I figured they were trying to move away from the Skywalker.
Yeah, they have to.
They are moving from the Skywalker saga, but it doesn't mean they're moving away from Star Wars as we know it.
No, not that. I just don't want to hear about Star Wars, the Skywalkers anymore. Like,
which is why I think I think Maximus and Red Hood are dead on. Looking at the Gillen 2015 Vader run heavily, Afra Murder Droids, and then the Soul 2017 run are phenomenal reads with really, really good substance that they can pull from, and really, really hardy writing and really hardy comics focused around Vader. And then you look at the pack run even too recently. There's solid content for them to work with for a Vader series, like mind-blowingly good content.
Even the Bad Batch, that shit is dope. Like, if they
Mandalorian is the future for sure. That's one thing we do know. That show,
and then there's that Mandalorian series coming out too for comics.
Yep. That one's like Ultra Maximus, like you said earlier about how they are tailoring the books to look more like the movies. That case in point is Marvel tailoring that book to look like the Mandalorian show. In fact, I think the book's going to read exactly like the show, if I remember correctly.
That's awesome.
You got this one, Andy?
Fennec Shand, everybody. Fennec Shand, who also has a first appearance on one of the Sprouse covers.
I don't. That's still on my list of books to get. Issue 25. That's a killer Afra cover with both the 000 and BT.
Nice.
I do.
You want it, bro?
That. I gotta buy one. Yeah. How much you selling it for?
You want it? I'll send it to you, man. I got a couple of them.
Are you sure? We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
And just so everyone knows, this is how we all trade books.
Well, then, yeah, he'll send me a book, which gives me his address, which means I'll send him 10 books and some money to press me some stuff, and I'll stack in a couple extra freebies for him. And
okay, deal. Get Ninth back in here, man. He's depressing the shit out of me, dude. Look at that, dude.
I'm messaging him on Instagram because I feel like
he's me. He goes, man, my friends don't want to play with me right now.
We're talking about it. I'm over it.
You guys talk about like content and being a YouTube creator and being a content creator. I feel like that's why I haven't done a lot of speculation, is my heart resides in Star Wars right now. And I don't want to sound like a one note flute constantly on my channel of the same thing because I'm passionate about it. I mean, I'm deeply in love with Star Wars right now to where I'm buying everything that I can find for affordable rates, and anything out of $1 bin Star Wars, I'm grabbing just so I can have a chance to read it if I haven't. Or even better, $1 bin stuff that I already have. I took a bunch of my triples and my quads out of my Star Wars collection and put them on Whatnot, and dollar started everything just because it was a freaking riot and it was a really good time during Celebration Week.
Nice.
I told the guys, if CGC ever decided to do custom label Star Wars, bro.
Oh God, they need to.
Bro.
They can't afford that Lucas license.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just making up shit.
I mean, they put fucking Batman on there.
I mean,
Thor
if you have to
like,
reach out to art
fuck,
students to make custom labels that can't have any likeness to anything specifically,
yeah,
and
dude.
people still buy them, like, to me, that's insane. But I mean, I get it. You know, it can get an artist's start or whatever, but still, like, why would you add a random sci-fi label that has nothing to do with anything?
I guess
just kill the conversation with more Star Wars.
Hey,
now
what do you
I
guys-
can start my own slabbing company with as many slabs as I've cracked open, dude. I don't know what to do with all the plastic, dude. Like,
You're supposed to melt it down.
really?
Yeah.
Maybe I can make something with it, dude.
Yeah, you're supposed to melt it into a mold.
Really? I got to look that up and see.
Melted into one big giant award.
I mean, why don't you make a life-size CGC slab?
Or you can make a wall
Dude,
mount
with
thing
me
for
in
it,
it?
and then hold
Carbonite
it all.
Grade yourself, you know, give yourself a label.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no. He's on to something here. You do a life-size CDC slab like 9.8, 9.9. Just bring it to conventions with you, put it out, and tell people $20 per picture with you and your own slab.
Yeah,
Right.
nice.
I'm a 6'5".
I mean,
I'm a very fine.
How many cosplayers would love that? Just think about that.
Red Hood, man, run with it. Do it.
I give out the best ideas.
What do you guys think about?
Or you can sell the bad idea.
Those Tyler Kirkham variants that he's still making, and he's continuing on with that whole.
Well, let me just tell you that final boss.
You talking about the Moon Knight?
No, I'm
No.
talking. He did a Homelander, I think.
Yeah,
in the same.
they dropped
vein.
they dropped a Homelander and
That's
a
a
Moon
book
Knight
number
at
7. That's a pretty tight book to have a Homelander
Mhm.
variant on.
Why is he continuing with that style, man? That style is gonna burn it's gonna burn out. Like I don't.
Well,
It's
kinda
a
like-
whatnot style, you know.
Yeah.
I think they like. I want
Do
to
you
say
guys
they
like that
trademarked it.
style? Do you like it?
For Invincible books, yes, I like that style, and I think Mel is holding out for Battle Beast.
It's perfect for Invincible style, and it makes sense for
Even
that.
Moon Knight.
For
When they
that,
start expanding out to other books, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna start turning into an Amazing Spider-Man 300 homage
Well,
again.
yeah, but you know what? There's still people who buy that. That's the thing. We may not buy it, but there's
Yeah.
still a bunch of people who are just like,
Yeah.
oh man, I gotta have that ASM 300 swipe.
It's almost like that. They're kind of doing like the David Nakayama playbook of all the like negative space variant covers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
the Punisher one did pretty well for him.
I didn't like any of them. I liked the
the
original.
Punisher was a
It was the original cool idea when it first came out. It's burnt to me already now. I don't even want to
Yeah.
fuck with it.
And some of that is I know the Moon Knight was what, a CBE. I think the Punisher was that Big Time or was that another retailer?
I think it was another retailer. I can't remember who it was. Was
The
it Big Time?
boys. I would have liked to see Kirkham take a little bit more time on that artwork on that one, but I didn't mind that as being like a one-off to the Invincible series, just because Homelander is such a popular character right now. I didn't mind that. The Invincible, I hope they do. I love Invincible. I hope they do every main character with that Kirkham art style. But that should have been the main. That should have been the main thing with a couple of one-offs here and there, just to give it a little bit more collectability, you know. But it's hard to say, you know, what should be done or what's overdone or what isn't, you know, overdone. But me personally, I would only ever collect the Invincibles. For those whatnot Kirkham variants, I would only collect the Invincibles because that. So far, those have looked the best and they've made the most sense to me.
Well, does it also mean something to us as sellers or users of Whatnot because those were the first exclusives to drop on Whatnot? You know what I mean?
guess some people it does because like Ann from Bird City was talking about earlier, the first time you get your name on the back of a comic book cover, that was a first for a lot of people. I kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of cool to see my name. It was kind of surreal, but it wasn't like kind of life-changing for me. I guess I just don't have the same skin in the game. And when it did happen, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But for other people, it was a really, really kind of like life-changing situation. You know what I mean? And that was the first group or first real big round of people they kind of worked with and invited to branch out for that.
I think one thing with that is that I thought, when I saw Whatnot doing that, and they, I was one of the guys. I'm sure it's a few people on this panel that had their name on the back of that book, and I was like, oh, so Whatnot is going to be, this type of app where, they're trying to make, bring up the smaller, bring up the smaller sellers, or just make it, more of a community effort. And to a certain extent, it kind of feels like Whatnot is kind of pulling away from that a little bit. And I do worry that sometimes that it can be a natural, resentment, even from your customer base, that if they see you leaning too hard into more established names, that they'll naturally start to revolt against the app, just because America is a weird place in that we love the Michael Jordans, the Supermans, the Batmans, the Wayne Gretzky's, the Babe Ruths, but at the same time, we love the Scarfaces, the Walter Whites, the underdog, the guy that's coming up, that's scrapping, for every, for every bite of food that goes on this plate. We love them just as much and hold them to the same standard. But if we had to pick, the Supermans, the Batmans, the Michael Jordans, the Wayne Gretzky's, we would say fuck them, and we're gonna ride with the underdog every time, just because we love that rags to riches stories. So I feel like Whatnot just in the weirdest place is like, okay, how do we balance this? But at the same time, keep our smaller happy, our smaller sellers, happy as well. And I think it's kind of hard to translate and show, hey, we done brought up some smaller sellers, and and turn them into a bigger, and turn them, and they were able to grow their platform through Whatnot, which I joined a Whatnot resellers group that don't have anything to do with comics. There's more other categories. And it's like a reverse psychology, because a lot of them people is like, they expect for Whatnot to grow their following. It's like, oh, we expect Whatnot to help grow our following. Why would we sell on this app if they're not going to provide us with the same, if they're not going to provide us with a bigger platform than we already have, which I kind of disagree on that. I feel that you should try to build up your following and convert them over to Whatnot. But that's either way. But just back to the exclusives itself, I feel that when and I'm trying to say this in the most respectful matter, just because Whatnot has been very good to me, and I don't want to say anything to go against the grain on that. I feel if you see a bunch of different sellers on the app that might not have big followings, and they all get free copies of the Invincible, that feels empowering. But if you see Comic Tom with 9.8 after 9.8 after 9.8 after 9.8, it's kind of like, do I, like, it can make people feel.
That's all right. You can say it. You can say it, dog.
It make people
There's
feel
no favoritism going on. We know.
Yeah, and people just don't like that. Even though you could say Tom earned them books the same as a guy, with 10% of the following his time on the app earn those books. Like, people are never gonna see it that way. And it's just like, from the optics point of view.
The optics to me is that just means there's a lot of those books out there, and I thought there wasn't a lot. As a person who hasn't technically had my first sale, you know what I mean, but I still am a part of Whatnot.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
No, what I'm saying though is that was what was supposed to be the whole thing, was that these books were limited. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just saying, like, there's preferential treatment. Everybody knows
that's a whole other thing. My thing is that there's supposed to be a limited amount, and across the board, I'm seeing these books popping up on different streams, whether they have big followings or not. It doesn't show me that the book is exclusive. I'd much rather have 2 or 3 different sellers are the only people on the platform that have those.
Let me tell you how you make a book like legit 300 print. Like the old days, they fucking get a marker and put 1 of 300, 2 of 300.
Yeah.
And that's how you know there's only 300 of those books.
Yeah.
Now we're just supposed to take 500 got damaged and there's only 20 of this book. And then you see 40 of them on eBay.
Exactly. And that's another thing. I see them for sale on eBay. I thought you were supposed to only be able to. You should only be able to buy them on Whatnot.
I can kind of speak to this a little bit is because I saw some of these sellers, or not sellers, but buyers actually in some of my streams and bouncing on other streams. They are buying specifically from Whatnot exclusive sellers, the exclusive copies, and posting them on eBay.
Obviously,
immediately right after that, because they're not approved Whatnot sellers, but they're eBay sellers. So they're going to Whatnot and buying stock and putting them on eBay. And
I'm not mad at it. I'm just,
whether or not they're selling doesn't really matter to them. What they're doing is they're setting the market or working to set the market. They'll take and spend $2,000 on a book on Whatnot and put it on eBay for $4,000.
Yeah,
I'm paraphrasing heavily, mind you.
No, I got you.
I hope I'm in the same ballpark with what you guys have been seeing, but that's what I've been feeling, because I got a gold foil Invincible #1 from Whatnot to put up, and that was $1 start. I kind of honored that camaraderie in that, and that book wound up on eBay for quadruple what it went for.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I were to get 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know if it's against the law, but I'd probably keep those bitches. I don't even think I wouldn't do them. Not if I only have 1 of each.
Are you guys with me? Get a magic marker, a Sharpie, and write 1 of 100, 2 of 100, 3 of 100, and then there will be no doubt how many books are printed.
McClay's been calling for numbered variants for years.
Yeah. I heard it's
here's the problem. Here's the problem. It won't happen on a bigger level because it's about this. It's not about creating collectibles. It's not about, and that's not for everybody, but that's for most people. That's definitely for the big publishers. It's about what happened. Listen, and I'm not taking shots at the dude, but man, the Fan Expo guy, that guy did it right. He took that foil Batman 423, put it out at that MegaCon, created the fervor around it, but nobody knew in the background there was 3,000 to 10,000 copies of those motherfuckers, right? Nobody knew, and that's what he's supposed to do as a retailer who sells comic books, who slings comic books, right? He's not a retailer to help the collectible market. He's a retailer to sell comic books. So, you get these conversations with some of these OGs in the business, and they come to you and they say, you have to choose, man. What are you? What are you? Are you a comic book seller? Are you a comic book collector? Or are you here to help the people or make money? You have to choose. Yeah. Now, they're not saying which one to choose. They're just saying at some point you have to do that if you want to, continue here. And a lot of those people are going to be like, I'm a seller and I want to make money.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where this panel is fantastic, because we blurred all of those lines.
True. Yeah. But that's just like with the Whatnot thing. If I'm being honest and transparent, Whatnot, for my contributions to Whatnot, they have probably done more for me than they've done for Comic Time. If you think about it from what I can offer Whatnot versus what Comic Time can offer Whatnot, Whatnot has done way more for me than they've done for Comic Time. But that's not something I want to speak about. That's something I don't want to speak about. Yeah, that's something I don't want to speak about publicly, because I already got other Whatnot sellers taking shots at me. I was like, oh, it's you. Small example, Invincible variants. I was pretty much explaining to people, this is before shipping became a big problem on Whatnot, that, essentially I was going to start doing $3 starts because the cost of Geminis was going up. And you know, cost of shipping was going up. So I kind of wanted to start bundling books out more instead of just running one book, you know, at a time, and then you having to pay shipping and $2.50 for each book. And somebody said, "Oh, well, with all of those Invincible variants you're getting for free from Whatnot, you can't afford shipping." I'm like, bro, the shipping don't even have nothing to do with me, you know. Is
Yeah.
I'm talking about saving my people that's buying books from me money and bundling stuff out. So if I give you 3 books and it's on one transaction, you're not gonna get charged an extra, you know, $7.50, you know, for
Yeah,
those 3 books
each
that
time.
you ordering, which makes a huge difference in how much money people can spend with you versus me running one book, you know, one book at a time. So with some people, they get in their mind like there is favoritism going on where they don't see one part or the other. But just in regards to the books themselves, like I would like to see more transparency as far as books being numbered. I would like to see less homages, even though I love homages. And I will kind of see, I like give concepts more room to breathe, right? Don't say, all
Yeah.
right, well, this type of variant is doing good. Let's do a whole bunch of these. Like, give them room. Do them quarterly, once a quarter. Release, you know, release a new Invincible, or you know, try different things, especially with Whatnot, since they brand power is pretty strong right now. Like they could really be setting the bar for doing different things and trying different things that nobody else is really doing because their core fan base has showed that they're going to spend money on that app no matter what and support these exclusives. That's just like people talking about how far the Invincibles have fallen in price. I'm like, honestly, it's still mind-boggling to me that the raw foils was ever selling for $3,000. So even if a 9A graded sells for 1,500, bro, that's mind-boggling to me for a book that just came out last year, and
Oh,
it's a reprint. That's a
yeah.
reprint at that, man. That's crazy. And
And I
consider that we're not giving these books away for free for the most part. Like I don't care if that's why I run any Whatnot exclusive at $1 because I'm getting the books for free. I'm making money off of it. Why do I care if somebody else get it for cheap or if it don't sell for as much as it did in the last auction? To me, it's about the brand name, the power behind it. That's why I feel like it would be better if like they got really risky and tried, different stuff because I feel like once you hot, you got to keep digging, you had to keep going down that path. Like if you look at like Kanye West, his Yeezy clothing line like started at from nothing to now being worth over $3 billion because he started putting out crazy ass shoes and clothes that nobody else would ever think about making. Not even Nike would go down that road that Kanye West is going down, like making these space alien looking shoes. And he found, look, it's a generation of people out here that's going to support this because it's different than anything else out here.
They're
okay.
not free though.
So I wanted to ask the panel this. This or that. Would you want the Invincible foil CGC 98 or first print like 98? Because weren't they at one point in time like floating around the same price?
If you just want to segue right to the left here, I'm gonna say the actual Whatnot foil because that was the first time I was ever mentioned on a comic book.
Me too.
And it's not something
Well,
like I go shouting over the mountaintops, but it's kind of like anybody else out there. I'm kind of proud of it. I've got one standard trade copy 9.8 saved because of that set aside. I don't know. It's just kind of a neat little tchotchke at that point for me.
I'd probably want the original.
Yep.
Yeah, you always got to go with the original, but I
We'll go with
still
the
think that you always got to go with the original, but I still think those Whatnot Invincible variants, because what people don't understand is that's a partnership venture that they have with Skybound. So I think Skybound,
It's a good
I,
second runner up for sure.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to speak and say that this is anything I know for sure, but what I heard, I believe, is that Skybound gets like half of the print run. Because I know when I was at C2E2, I was um, at the Skybound booth, and I said they had mystery packs, and they was like, "Yeah, we got some of the Invincible variants in there, the Tyler Kirkhams." I was like, "Oh, I thought that was a Whatnot exclusive." They was like, "Yeah, it's a partnership deal between us and Whatnot, and we got like half of the books go to us or something like that." The guy told me. So even if you think about the amount of books that Whatnot gave out on that, they gave out a lot of those books, right? And that was only like half of and that was only like half of the, well, it was not a lot because it was only a 3,000, it was less than 4,000 total books, which is pretty freaking low. I don't care if it's a reprint or not, it's still pretty
it just
freaking
seems
low.
like a lot because it's condensed in one location.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize those books get circulated, they get recycled on the app a lot. Like somebody will buy a book from me and then they have it in their live sale the minute that it gets from me to them in shipping. So,
and if I can add to that, like, I don't feel like those books were free. How much of your time and energy did you put into everything that you had going on? Remo, I got to bounce too, Remo. I got to go to bed at midnight, but I don't feel like those were like look at just everything that went into the last year and a half. You know what I mean? The labor, the time, everything.
Yeah, that's true. Because
would you label it as like more of a bonus type of situation where it's like, hey, thank you for putting in all your hard work towards the app. Like, we appreciate like everything you've been doing. So here you go.
I don't know how you would want to like legally like what terminology you would officially want to use, but I mean, I kind of feel like that's kind of how Whatnot viewed it, and that was a segue into how they have it structured, where you have to apply for variants now, because there's so many things are much larger. There's much more of a foundation and structure and policies and procedures that need to be involved to manage as big as it's become over the last year and a half. Because I kind of think they used that at the beginning as a learning experience. Like, they saw what they had, a vision, they enacted that, things happened, then they looked back at that and be like, okay, this might need to change and be done differently. And I think that's why we got to apply for variants now. Variants aren't just they don't just go to a group of sellers and be like, hey, who wants in on a variant? You got to apply for it now.
Yep, that's true. And I think part of it is it's just sweat equity, and when you show up to cons too, Whatnot's been pretty good about hooking people up. But for me, it's more so I worry more about what's being put out rather than who's getting it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just the thing to me is like, okay, if you give me a free book, but the book ain't worth nothing, do I really want that free? Do I really want that free book? So I worry more about what's being put out rather than who's gonna get it, because you can't get every book. You're not always gonna be favored. But one thing I did want to bring up before we get out of here is there's been a topic that's been building up a lot of conversation lately. That's probably not the right comment to highlight. So eBay live sales.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we talk about that on Drunken Chat this past Friday?
I wasn't on there, and I couldn't really watch the stream good from the boat, so I'm not sure.
Or did we talk about that on Modern Comic Mayhem?
Yeah, you didn't talk about it on Drunken Chat.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't on Drunken Chat. Never mind.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't.
But live sales, man. This I think it's a factor, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Because eBay is going to be pretty strict on letting people get on there and sell live. One difference that I look at between Whatnot and eBay is Whatnot is an upstart, so they have to take more chances on sellers. eBay don't have to do that. They got a long list of sellers who've been doing this for a long time and, have been selling for decades and decades and have, flawless records on there. I think the only problem is that are those guys going to want to adjust with the times? And selling live, it takes a special type of person to do that.
Yep.
And you almost have to come with like some type of audience.
I bet you more than half of those people that have that stellar record like you're talking about on there aren't interested in sitting down and getting in front of a camera, let alone learning how to use a audio visual full on devices. Now you're talking about a bunch of people where selling on Whatnot has been secondary to their primary business, and for them to turn around and make that a primary thing to learn all these things, they might not even be interested.
Yeah. The thing that I think will be interesting is that if they enter this market in the exact same way that Whatnot is entering, there's going to be a race to get sellers on both of those apps. And then I also was reading that maybe Pinterest or Etsy, one of them, which they might be owned by the same company, that they're entering that space, and that Amazon is looking at entering that space too. And if
Wow.
that is true, there's not, especially if we just think about comics, right? And that's just a small part, part of the pie. If you just think about that, there's a lot of older comic book sellers out there that's not going to want to get on there and sell live. So they're going to have to start competing for sellers who are willing to get on, that know the product, that can be interactive. And because this is deeper than just selling comic books, it's also content. And that's the part that people miss from Whatnot, is that it's also a form of content as well. So you have to kind of be able to piece everything together. And as these sellers, as these companies learn this space more and more, and they collect that data and see how buyers are interacting with these apps, it's going to change a lot of stuff. So my number one advice to anybody that's a Whatnot seller, or doing any type of live sales, would be try to make your show as professional as possible. Make sure that you're delivering, product quality over quantity, so that you can put yourself in a position that maybe if eBay says, hey, we looking to bring on experienced live sellers, et cetera, and it's a check behind it, that you will be in a position to say, hey, I qualify to do this.
Yeah,
Or Whatnot.
Can you highlight Eric's comment too while you're talking about that? Because at the end of the day, the people with the best fees or the lower fees are going to get a lot of the action.
So you mean the people who sell on their YouTube channel and got their
is YouTube going to dive in now? I mean, seriously.
I mean, people have been doing that forever though. There's been people running auctions on YouTube and IG Live who don't pay the overhead for that service because they have a pretty good following. So I wonder if I'm wondering if there's going to be people who actually find a way to circumvent the system and not have to go on to Whatnot or to eBay in order to not pay those fees, which is what a lot of people who avoid those things do by going on to their own streaming service and doing their own methods. But then they're chasing people down for payments.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and
I
then
think
they're starting to crack down on those YouTube channels as well. That's what I've been
Yeah.
hearing. And then I've heard that they're supposed to integrate the marketplace with Facebook at some point in time too, to make it more seamless.
I think eventually all of these platforms, they will have the exact same thing that Whatnot has. If you think about it, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these companies worth billions of dollars. Like if they aren't already developing, that software, they have it ready to go, and they just waiting on whatever to make their push. I'm not saying if it's gonna happen. For my opinion, it's when it's gonna happen, when they decide to drop that ball.
And then no caso until PayPal stops, withdraws all your money from that account from taking so much on friends and family.
That's happened to 4 or 5 people that I know of in the YouTube community.
So
they've woken up and had their PayPal accounts locked.
And then you can fight for it all you want. It's almost nearly impossible to get that money back. It's what I've heard. It hasn't happened to me because I don't take friends and family payments. So
I do only when I
Yeah.
borrow money from friends.
yeah, exactly.
And family.
There you go.
Yep. Dang, what was I gonna say?
Sorry.
But man, yeah, really interesting times that we in, like, regardless, you know, and I feel like everybody should be excited, even though perception that the market is down a little bit right now. Like I said, we still on a lot of these books. If you think about where we get these books at and where we take them to in the secondary market, we still making a lot of freaking money. Like, think about people that's invested in the crypto and the stock market right now. They down bad, man.
Which
They down bad.
that's a great way to segue this back to the beginning, talking about where you guys feel like the market is at and how comfortable you think people are at with extra money and buying into collectibles. And I'm not too worried because, one, we're not hearing about people's hours getting cut at work. Two, I can't speak for everybody, but where I stand in my professional career, it's nothing but overtime, and we are overrun with projects, with more and more projects. Like literally, it's gangbusters. There is so much money coming into this country right now, and businesses, from where I'm kind of viewing and standing, it's absolutely insane. I feel like this might be the correction that people have talked about. Correction, not necessarily recession. The market analysts that work for the company that I work for that have talked about whether or not there's going to be a recession, they're pretty good. They've been pretty good about the last 10 years, and they're not calling for a recession right now. So I'm wondering if we're really just seeing a big correction with some certain things and not so many others, because there's some books that really aren't really dropping too yet out there.
Yep. But you know, I've been saying for years, CGC and CBC has been backed up. CGC is starting to get books out fast now, which means more people are getting their orders back. So let's say you've been waiting on a year for a submission, you finally get it back. You basically been sitting on, let's say it's a 25 book submission, you've been sitting on 25 books for a year. People want to unload that and at least get their grading fees back. So this could be a temporary dip where we see a dip for like 2 or 3 months, and then as we enter into the fall, next thing you know, these prices are skyrocketing again. And Lord forbid we get a new stimulus package or any little thing, a break on gas prices that's going to put more disposable income back in people's pockets. These books will jump back up. Like I said, the number one comparison I want to make is like stock market, cryptocurrency, and comic books. If you look at how bad those markets are down compared to comic books, like, I don't see how anybody could say that the comic book market is doing bad right now at all. Where Ultimate Fallout 4 is still selling for close to $3,000, and we haven't even had a sniff of Miles in a live action anything. So that pretty good market to me, man. Like I said, I'm not a greedy guy though, but it sounds like a pretty good market to me, and a market that I would want to stay um involved in. It says the buyer pool of cheaper books will dry up, don't you think? Even if there is a recession, these almost never impact the high books or so-called blue chips. I sell, but I buy books like almost every day. If I go a day without buying a comic book, that's an odd day for me. I was buying comic books from a ship, and these was on days where I blew 200-300 at casino, 100 on drinks. So if I'm still buying comic books, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other people out there buying comic books. Like, I don't know. Like,
that's a really good analogy, man. Like, seriously, now's the time to shed the FOMO, pay attention and buy in the dip, but do it like you would the casino. If you're taking $200 to the casino because you're comfortable with losing that money, because let's be honest, the second you walk in that door, the money's not really essentially yours anymore. You're losing it. You're going to make a lot more smarter buys right now, especially if you're in the dip and you can't afford to let go of that money and let it sit and ride out in that box for a couple of years.
That's true. That's half the game. Half the game is waiting. Well, yeah, half the game is waiting. I always tell people that half the game is waiting, but you know, hold on. Eric schooling me. Correction, yes. If inflation continues, there will be a recession. Like, shut your mouth on stimulus. That's what's got to stay 0.5 inflation. Yeah, man. I just need it to boom one more. I just need one more stimulus so it can boom. I can save all that money I make from selling shit, and then
Man,
wait for
another
inflation.
stimulus into the economy would probably push inflation even higher. So I don't know
But
about that.
if y'all, anybody that knows me knows I like chaos. I thrive in chaos. So I'm fine with that, man. Trying to find ways to outthink the system, like that's what I like to do. So
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Look, here go my thing about it though. Inflation this, inflation that, but the price of nothing ain't went down in decades. Everything just been going, that's just the nature of where we are as a society. Is like we always want to go higher, bro. We never just think of a logical way to handle things. We always think about progressing forward, progressing forward. Like cell phones, we could have stopped with the snake game, text, and phone calls, but we just had to find a way to put a camera into these motherfuckers. Okay, the camera shit was cool. But we couldn't stop at that. We had to find a way to now I can use the camera to call you live.
Yeah, let's go
Oh, we
total
couldn't stop
recall
at
here.
that. Now I can use the camera to call an unlimited amount of people
I was
live and
thinking
show
more
them everything.
1984.
Yeah, just everything just always going forward. So next thing is eventually the metaverse, you're gonna be able to wait to go live in uh alternate reality with millions of other people. We just never, bro. We never stop at good enough. So inflation is just inherent to our existence. Period. Is stuff is always going to cost more yesterday than it did. Than it did today, until something becomes no longer there's a need. There's no longer a need for it. Then those things will just be beat out of existence until 30 years later, some teenager picks up a vinyl and says, "Man, this is cool. Why don't they make music like this no more?" And then all of a sudden that shit goes through the roof until people decide that vinyl isn't cool anymore. That's just
Yeah. I'm a little worried that I'm a little concerned that we got to get comfortable with gas prices where they're at, because I feel like OPEC's throwing in the towel and giving in and conceding to electric motors. I mean, 2030, everything's supposed to be electric now. So I feel like OPEC's going to make the money that they can make before they're done. And that's kind of out on a limb, but I'm a little worried that
I
we're kind
don't
of
think
stuck with
everything will
what we're
be
looking at.
30 be electric by 2030, but I do see more and more and more and more Teslas. I remember it used to be rare that I would see a Tesla. Now it's like if I go to it's a grocery store about a mile from my house. If I drive to that grocery store and back, I will see at least 3 or 4 Teslas. I mean, I do live in a pretty nice neighborhood, but I mean, I would like the the grocery store. It used to have just like two the electric charging stations, and I was talking to one of the guys, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "His parking gonna be pretty tight around here because they about to put in a whole row for Teslas, so the Teslas can have like a whole parking row of charging stations." So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna happen. We'll see more and more Teslas and other electric vehicles out on the road, like the Ionic 5. I'm seeing a lot more of those. So it's like I said, we always gonna continuously progress. But I also saw that they making hemp. They making they using hemp to make a type of gas as well. So
That was
next,
found out a long time ago, but it
yeah,
was just never commercialized because of DuPont. But that's a whole nother conversation, and I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole.
You're referencing biodiesel, I think, right, Knight?
yeah, made out of like hemp and something else.
They're doing that in the aviation industry too, where they're trying to do renewable bio kerosene or renewable bio jet fuel, and it's crazy what they're doing.
Well, I mean, we're having an issue with deforestation, but hemp is like the solution for that, right? Because you can grow it faster and then like create all kinds of textile goods for it. So that's why there's a big heavy like leaning towards that. And honestly, we should have done that a long time ago.
Oh, we tried, and the government shot it down. What was it? The 30s?
It was special interest groups that shot it down, like DuPont,
thank you.
like
hemp
in the
and
30s.
bamboo. Yeah, they starting to use more hemp and bamboo because both of those grow like super duper fast. But I was reading somewhere the other day. They say it's more trees planted now than any other time than it was throughout history, which is true. But the thing that they don't tell you is that a lot of those trees are man-made forests that the trees are literally planted to be chopped down. So it's kind of like, hey, we kind of got more trees than
that's
ever
the
before.
quantity over quality kind of aspect. When you look at the redwood forests in the west side of the country that have been there 300 or 400 years, the quality of wood that those things have grown over centuries, and then you look at like central Michigan where they've got 20 or 30-year-old forests built up of cheap pine to create pine for logging and all this other stuff, and it's kind of that's the old quantity versus quality aspect argument, Oh, we lost night. He's frozen. Watch him blink. He's not going to blink. Oh my God. When is he going to blink, gentlemen?
It's okay because I have controls over the channel.
Oh, is he coming back?
Hopefully. I don't know.
I feel bad. Because I do have to bounce. I got to get to bed.
I got to get ready to bounce too.
This has been a phenomenal conversation.